up, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Takes Podcast. I'm your host, Frank McKnight. Surprise, I'm not Frank McKnight. What's up, guys? It's Luke. Special episode today. We are doing a wrestling-related WWE, AEW, ECW, whatever you want to call it, type of episode. And got my two new co-hosts here. Frank is behind the camera, but I'll pass it over. Introduce yourselves as we go around.
Yo, what's up? It's Adam here.
The end.
My eyes are tearing up. I'm standing up here.
God, I'm such
dead.
A good speech, right?
I had to break kayfabe already.
Yeah,
Damn
exactly.
It.
Damn it, Adam. You already had him break kayfabe.
Yeah,
but, you know, I obviously kind of going into the whole concept of like sports and sports-related stuff, obviously I kind of have a little bit more of the platform than Frank has been with him giving me that availability. But what I do love is that wrestling is the furthest thing from actual sports, but we're going to talk about it and, you know, just kind of get into the ins and the outs and what's going on with wrestling. So before we do our, like, first segment of it, I just wanted to say, like, are you guys watching it? Are you up to date with it? What are you liking? What are you disliking? And then we'll kind of go from there. But
yeah, I'm still liking it. I watch it occasionally now, but definitely I'm not really follow WWE like I used to back in the day. I'm more of an AEW guy. I used to watch TNA back in the day a whole lot.
Yeah.
Well, like WWE's just falling off for me.
Dude, TNA was interesting because I was gonna get into it, but basically our other co-host that's an invisible ghost on the couch, Nick, who was gonna come.
Pan
that way. He got me into wrestling back when we were in like 6th grade, and I watched it up until like freshman year aggressively. Like loved it. Then when I got into high school, I kind of stopped. I was like, it's not really my thing anymore. And it was right after Lesnar beat Taker, because the one time I would tune in was WrestleManias. I would always watch it, and that was my thing. And it was when I heard and I watched Lesnar beat Taker, I was like blown away. The other thing that blew me away about that storyline is if you go and you like look back now, not only obviously did Taker get like a concussion, so like I think the storyline changed a little bit because basically Lesnar had to go and, I mean, he had to pin him. The guy, Undertaker says he does not. Yeah. Undertaker says he doesn't remember anything from like 4 o'clock on. Did you guys watch the Last Ride documentary?
I heard about it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I heard like bits and clips.
When I tell you, I mean, look, again, the MJ documentary kind of like shined this year as the greatest thing that happened. Dude, the Taker documentary is so well put together from a documentary point of view as well as a wrestling point of view. Yeah. Like, I mean, I love the Undertaker, and I think he's the most well-respected guy in the industry, in my opinion. Probably, I mean, like, maybe Triple H or someone also would be kind of up there, but Triple H kind of got his way in a different vicinity. Yeah. But, dude, the thing that made me even more bummed about that is I was at WrestleMania... I want to say 26, but I don't think it was. Orlando, Florida, in 2000 and Floyd Mayweather, Big Show. I was at that WrestleMania. 2008. So I was at that
24,
WrestleMania.
That was 24.
Yes, and if you watch the Last Ride documentary and some things circulated after, they pitched and Vince pitched Edge because Undertaker Edge was that year, right?
Correct.
Right. Yeah. They pitched Edge beating Taker at that WrestleMania. So a part of me is like super bummed it didn't happen, because that would have been amazing if I could have said like I was at that WrestleMania and it wasn't at like the end of the Taker ride. Like he was like not at his older ages. It was like imagine the height of Edge, like him beating the Undertaker on the one stage. You can't like when Lesnar did it. Lesnar was there already. Lesnar was on his second stint in the WWE. Like, he was a dominating force.
It still pisses me off, though.
It still irritates me because I would have rather even almost had Bray Wyatt do it. What was it? The following year or 2 years after?
It was like 3 or 4 years. After
I would have rather had that because then you could have built up Bray Wyatt.
Or if they would have had him as the Fiend. Because they kind of their characters were practically the same at that point.
I think
when he was the Dead Man.
Oh, dude, the Fiend is so good right now, and it almost irritates me that the Fiend didn't come a little earlier. So you could have done the Fiend Undertaker as the what was it? What was the last man's? Graveyard match. Imagine the Boneyard match. Imagine the Boneyard match as Taker, the Fiend. And then, like, it transitioned, and they could have done, like, upside down shots and stuff. I still liked the AJ Styles match. I thought that was great. Like, I thought they both really did an amazing job. But I think the WWE's also got to kind of snap out of it and go, we need more of that. Like, you got to do more of that. Like, they're doing a really good storyline with Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton. But have you watched recently on what happened with that? Did you guys see
I know like what they're doing, but I don't know exactly what happened.
So the things that really quickly to go and say how WWE irks me is how quickly they'll drop certain things. Randy Orton got burned by Alexa Bliss because Alexa Bliss basically shot a fireball at him. Like, she got her powers and shot a fireball at him. The following Monday Night Raw, he was wearing a mask. Like, this terribly put together... so it looked like a Lucha Libre mask, but you know the leg that your grandmother puts on, the arthritis leg that's, it's like tan, one of those? It literally looked like that on his face.
Like the pantyhoses that Robbers used to use.
Exactly.
Okay.
The following week, his face was fine. Didn't have the mask on. So that's where the inconsistency gets to me, where I'm like, if you had someone watch the first time and the Alexa Bliss thing happened, and they were like, wow, that was cool, I want to watch next week, and they showed up the following week, and this guy's face was completely fine. like this goes into the whole thing of where like people say like gun games affect kids at a young age because they think, oh, I can hit a revive and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like they play Warzone all day, so I can just, if I shoot my buddy, he'll be fine. I can just hit him with a revive. The extremes there. Someone's probably gonna go, oh shit, I can burn my brother's face off and I'll be good. And like, don't worry about it. And he'll be just fine the following week. So that's where the WWE just like chef's kiss ceases to amaze me, where I'm like, you guys really just cannot stay consistent with it. But
so your main problem with it is like storyline consistency sort of deal? Is that what it is?
So I got back into it around that Undertaker time as a casual fan, just because I was like, you know what, like, I watch all my shows. I mean, I'm a Walking Dead guy. I'm Marvel, this, that. I have all this stuff. But, like, I didn't have anything. I had a lot of Sunday shows, some Thursday. Like, I had shows on all these days, but I didn't have, like, shows on Monday nights or whatever. So I was like, all right, let me get back into WWE. Mm-hmm. And how I compare it is my girlfriend's, like, a diehard Bravo fan, and I kind of actually, I will completely be transparent, I kind of like Bravo shows. I think the Housewives shows are so fucking funny because they are so, like, bad. Like, it's so written, like, it's so scripted out, and they make it seem like it's not. And I'm like, oh, boy. People thought Jersey Shore was giving us a bad name. Watch Housewives of Jersey, man. We are dirt to these people. But I compare it to that because it's all just, like, scripted drama. It's a soap opera for dudes.
Yeah, right.
It's exactly what it is. And when I was older, I think part of me when I was maturing, so like when I went into high school, I was like, I don't like wrestling anymore now that I knew it wasn't like completely real. I'll never say wrestling's not real. I mean, guys take bumps. Like, people break their legs, their arms, their necks. Like, the people that are like, wrestling's completely fake, I'm like, okay, I would go and tell you to watch anything Mick Foley's ever done in his career, and just like ECW in the early days, so Extreme Championship Wrestling was like a separate. It was a separate
New Jack baby
company. Yeah. Oh my god.
Rose, you see what Dr. Schultz did? You know what Dr. Schultz is?
No.
He used to wrestle back in like the early '80s, and this interviewer came up to him. He's like, I don't think wrestling is real, and he's like, he just smacks him in the face. He's like, is that fucking real?
36 years ago today.
Yeah, the dude stands up, he slaps him in the face. He's like, is that real? Huh? And he's like, chased him away.
It was
he got so offended. It was
early
so funny.
time in wrestling. It was when Vince was controlling whatever region of it, and this guy was under Vince. And exactly like you said, the guy like came up to him and was like, and literally sounded like a dweeb reporter.
Yeah, he had like the big fucking glasses.
Your typical reporter that like sits at the side of an NFL game is like, really bad game from this person today. They only had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, they've never played before, but they have the audacity to be like, I would have done this. And you're like, oh. Have you ever taken a snap in football and you're like, have you ever taken a hit? It's the same thing with wrestlers. Like, you don't go up to a wrestler, you're like, I think your sport is rake. Bah! Yeah. Like, how do you think the person filled with adrenaline is gonna feel?
And juice at that time,
and the
too.
guy, exactly. And literally seeping out the eyeballs with steroids. He smacked the guy. And I'm not talking like
the dude was looking up to him too. He's like,
he was a big guy. What, 6'3", probably?
Probably bigger. I think he's like 6'5".
Dude, big boy, and he just went, oh, how's that? Put him on the ground. Oh, dude. it's on a quick thing. Dark Side of the Ring, if you really want to get into some stuff,
love that show.
You would really enjoy it. I talked about it. Dark Side of the Ring is an amazingly interpreted way to go about the sport of wrestling and the dark things and the real shit that goes on in wrestling. So, back to it. But the thing that when I grew out of it, I was like, and I always still had a love for it. And there were almost two things that brought me back to it. When I watched the Lesnar-Taker thing, I kind of got bummed because I was like, shit, that's my childhood to a degree. Because Undertaker was probably already 20-0 up to the point that he was probably 18-0, 16-0.
22.
He was 22-0 when he fought Lesnar. And then he lost, so he was 22-1.
Yeah, so he was probably 16-0 the time that I started watching him. 17-0, whatever. So... part of me was that, and then the other part was the part of me that has started to thrift more and get vintage stuff. I've been thrifting since we were in high school. Back then, wrestling tees were you could get them; they were cheap. You could find wrestling t-shirts for $20 now, but you can also find wild wrestling shirts. If you find anything Undertaker from the '90s. It's like $150 plus.
Mm-hmm. Dude, this dude came into the liquor store the other day wearing a pristine red NWO jacket.
That's sick.
Yeah,
that's sick.
I gave him 10% discount. I'm just kidding. I didn't actually do that. Sorry.
Respect. You're not watching this, boss, but if you were... No, but... I mean, that's something also that's fascinated me because I've had the availability now to buy some of that and put it into the culture aspect of it. I have this. I'm hunting for my favorite wrestler shirts, so I won't say who I'm trying to get right now.
Yeah, don't spoil it, come on.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But it's that's a really cool thing about it. It's kind of the same thing as Harley shirts, why people are so into Harley shirts and stuff now and wrestling shirts, and it's funny to see that just like Marvel, people wear this shit and they don't necessarily people will wear an Iron Man shirt or a Superman shirt or whatever, and then you're like, sick, did you watch this? And do you know what and they'll be like,
right.
Yeah, Frank would spit on that guy.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. I worked at Champs for 9 years at a sneaker store, and I always used to fuck with people because people would come in, they'd wear a Def Leppard shirt or an AC/DC shirt or a Nirvana shirt, and I'd be like, sick, name me 5 Nirvana tracks. What was your favorite album? Do you think Kurt Cobain killed himself? My go-to was, do you think Kurt Cobain killed himself? And people would be like, who's that? And I'm like, get out of my store. But you know what I'm saying? So I think that was another part of me that got me really back into it, where I was like, you know what? If I'm wearing the stuff, I do have to be that guy that can kind of have that conversation about it, because I never want to be the person where someone's like, did you watch Undertaker last week? And I'm like, haha, Undertaker doesn't wrestle anymore, dickhead, get out of my face. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys think there's anything else big going on right now. What do you watch? I know you guys were saying you're AEW fans. We're a little more AEW squad over here.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
The inner circle for AEW, I think it's probably the best unit right now going, or faction going in WWE, in wrestling right now. It's so good. Trish Jericho's leading, Sammy Guevara, all these other guys. Mm-hmm. It's literally amazing. I don't find anything wrong with it right now.
Can't stand Sammy Guevara personally.
I love Spanish God.
He irritates me. Nothing against Spanish people at all.
You're Spanish God,
My
Sammy!
girlfriend is Cuban. I love... my words
will
not be twisted. I'm not being canceled today! It was last episode I was on. You could have canceled me then. No, but I think they're doing a really good thing. I really hope eventually MJF turns Jericho.
Yeah.
And gets him
That's
out of
definitely
here.
gonna happen.
What was it? MJF was on Stone Cold's podcast, and he was like, okay, Steven.
Yeah.
You don't call Stone Cold Steven.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But listen, he's playing a really smart role.
Yeah.
MJF is playing and again, I'm not the biggest AEW fan, but I do casually watch. MJF is doing phenomenal things when you think about, the typical bad guy. Because in WWE right now, The Miz is your bad guy.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is a really good bad guy, but he's almost... It's so funny because I consider him the bad guy of WWE, but I almost still look at him like, you're not a bad guy.
Can he talk on the mic now?
He's pretty good.
He's gotten better.
good
He's
now?
gotten a lot better.
It's shorter. They did the Undertaker take with him. Paul Heyman's his guy now, so he's
shit.
doing the Lesnar thing.
Okay,
so,
Brock.
Dude, Roman is a really good way of going about wrestling now, because they're so smart with, they were like, you know what? we're going to put the title on him. I mean, dude, he got bigger. Like, he's always been a big dude, but he's, like, big now. And he doesn't wear, like, the singlet. He takes the singlet off, so now he's just, like, bare chest with the tat, still with the brace. And, like, Paul Heyman does everything for him, and now Jey Uso. So he's doing something like as the, what is it called? Tribal Chief. Yeah. So basically, he's going and doing this whole Tribal Chief thing where he's the head of his table, the head of his family.
Yeah, like the head of the Samoans or whatever.
Yes, no one can disrespect him. Why I'm bummed about it is because originally there was a theory going around that it was going to lead up to this point, and he was going to either say something or do something, and The Rock was going to get involved. And then The Rock was going to come in.
That was really about a year ago.
I love The Rock, but nah.
See, I'm more of a Stone Cold guy.
Oh, I like Stone Cold more too.
I think, personally, if they had done that with The Rock, it would have been the best way to do it, and I think of it from two sides. One, going into Mania now, Edge and Roman is going to be a sick match. It's going to be definitely going to be a good match. But if you had a storyline built up where it was The Rock versus Roman for the head of the table, for the title, or even, you couldn't have even put the title on the line. Yeah. You could have just said for the head of the table.
Yeah. For High Chief.
Yes. You could have let him beat The Rock, and then, like, at some point in the match, like, he kind of comes to the realization, like, we're all like, something like that. Yeah. You could have built that out really well and done it that way, where now with Edge, it's still going to be a good match. But imagine, Edge is getting you buys. People are buying the pay-per-view, they're buying tickets. Yeah. Imagine you put The Rock there.
Oh, yeah. Like, people don't even watch are going to buy it.
Dude, you've got...
Frank might even buy it.
They've got...
I know The Rock.
I don't know if you guys listen to Bad Bunny's music or not, but Bad Bunny is the current 24/7 champion.
Yeah.
That's, oh my God.
Which I didn't originally like. I was like, this is kind of corny, but it does make a lot of sense. He brought the belt onto SNL.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a branding move that you cannot achieve on so many levels. Yeah. Like, they are like, you know what? You're going to win this, Bad Bunny. Take it where you want. Do whatever you want with it. So now they're getting marketing.
R-Truth jump him on SNL.
Now they're getting marketing. Yeah, they should have had R-Truth. Where is he?
The best 24/7 champ of all time?
There he is.
Yeah, Ron Killings.
Dude, I got all my favorites on here, but yeah, I think they're doing good things and bad things. I think that's always how wrestling's been. I mean, we're talking...
Yeah, everything can't be perfect.
I mean, dude, we're talking in the generation where we watch Edge and Lita have sex on the on
Adam's favorite part.
Yep, right. Yeah, literally. I remember to this day, I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. Because I was old enough to know what sex was, but I was like, I don't think this can be happening, like, on TV. And then I'm like sitting there and I'm like, there's also people around. Like, there are people watching.
Children there.
I was like, what is going on? And I like always would love to, I'd like mess with Nick and be like, Nick, close your eyes. Like, you know. But
I got a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
As far as like the WrestleManias go, they usually bring back people like The Rock and other
they usually bring back like Hall of Famers,
Hall of Famers, right.
It like depends. WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Right.
So that's where you want to do whatever your biggest storylines are because it gets you the most money and it sets up for the rest of the year. You finish your storylines there. You kill your whatever you're doing is most of the time the ending is there. Like if you're building up this really long storyline, like a lot of people are saying now, The Fiend has been gone for... The Fiend's last match was in, like, December.
Yeah, I believe so.
And now he hasn't been back for 2 months, and they keep alluding to this guy who The Fiend is. His name was Bray Wyatt. He basically... Great wrestler, comes from a wrestling family, really smart building storylines. He's a really intelligent dude. He builds these great characters. He came back as this guy that was all buttoned up and like, hi, I'm a born-again Christian, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what we could kind of advertise it as? Like,
I would say so. Close.
What was it called? The Firefly Funhouse?
Firefly Funhouse. Yeah. So he basically came back as like this Mr. Rogers character, like, hi, guys, I'm here. But he had a demon side. And the demon side was The Fiend, and it would come out occasionally. It was this whole, like, let me in segment. I'll send you some stuff on it later. But they're doing a really smart storyline with it because they're building this horror, sci-fi related thing into wrestling, which, like, a lot of people are like, oh, that's stupid. But at the same time, it's smart because you're getting people that are, like, interested in the character storyline. So
I really love that especially what they did with John Cena for the Firefly last year. I thought that was the best thing for WrestleMania last past year.
With the Boneyard match. I'm gonna Graveyard match. That was
good. They did Cena's old characters.
I think that was good. Like just the change because wrestling's been the same for fucking the last 40 years. You cut a promo, you go out there and wrestle, but this one was like a cinematic. It was an actual cinematic
So basically, wrestling really quickly to talk more on that. They've taken kind of a turn into the modern day where they realize that a lot of this is like it's storyline. So they're cutting these matches called cinematic matches or cinematic. I forgot what they used, some other term, whatever. Basically, it's literally a culminated storyline where it's not as much live and rehearsed. So wrestlers they practice, then they go into the ring and they do it all live. It's like cut up. It's a movie. It's shot like a movie. Like they cut some scenes to it, then they go to something else. Like I'll send you the Boneyard match. I got it right.
Good job.
Yes. I'll send you the Boneyard match. It's really well done. It's basically like they led up to this storyline where AJ Styles was talking about how the Undertaker's old, his family's old, whatever. He was like really disrespecting the family, the whole thing. And then they got to this part where they're literally in a boneyard/graveyard, and they were there, and it's every scene is like different. One scene they're like fighting over a grave. He's throwing him into a car's window. Then they're throwing him off a barn. He like drives away on a motorcycle. So it's cut up very well. And the same was what was the not John Cena one from this past year with Braun? The swamp match.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, yeah, that was Randy Orton. Yes.
No. It was Braun. It was Braun and him. It was just Braun and him in some regardless. They're building up these cinematic matches where it's more focused on a storyline, and then they're tying the match into a storyline match, not just like wrestle.
Yeah.
Have fun, like do it, like it's whatever. So they're building more into it. But
I like that because you got to switch it up after so many years of doing it.
Well, they're realizing, like you said, that their money is going to be in the cinematic shit as well. Like the cameras that they're getting, and the viewers are more interested now in what's going on instead of... I mean, I watch Raw almost every week, and there's certain times that it's just... They start off with a good promo, you know, like they get you excited, and then they have 3 matches back to back to back, and it just has no relevance. It's just matches.
Fills it off. It starts off well.
It's just filler. It's just filler, and then at the end they're like,
"Are they still? Is this still 3 hours?"
Raw is, which I.
That's such a joke. That should be 2 hours.
So the part of me that likes that it's 3 is the part of me that's like I can just watch it for 3 hours, like I can just keep it on.
Yeah, I can't.
But I agree where sometimes I'm just like, damn, man, you guys.
Because there's like, there's just so much you can cram.
I almost wish they would take 30 minutes away from Raw and add it to SmackDown. Yeah. Just make them like both 2.5 hours.
No, yeah, that would be good, yeah.
Because I think SmackDown does a good job in the amount of time, but I think they could. I think they could also add a little more. But I mean, dude, it's just like wrestling is realizing there's more to it, and I think, kind of like I alluded to earlier, Vince McMahon, who runs wrestling, has ran wrestling now forever. His dad was originally a wrestling promoter. Vince McMahon was a commentator, and he bought it. He's turned it into this empire. He's just too old school with certain things. So his kids are Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. They are like part-time wrestlers /
Both those names I've heard before.
Yes, they're like wrestlers / authority figures, so they still have involvement in the business.
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon married Triple H, who's what's his real name? Paul
Levesque.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Former weightlifter.
Yeah,
former weightlifter.
I called him Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but that's not his real name. Yeah,
Triple HGH.
Yeah, exactly.
As I like to call him.
Literally, but so. Triple H married Stephanie McMahon, and he's a smart businessman as well as husband.
Very smart.
Because he married into the business that he so coincidentally started getting good at. Like, he was decent at it, and he wasn't really... What did he win? King of the Ring? And then he started, like, dating Stephanie. He won King of the Ring,
what was it, 97, I think he won? When he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
Yes.
It was like 96, 97.
And that was when it first started off. It was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and it was the king gimmick and
he was like that French aristocrat or like Connecticut aristocrat from Greenwich.
Yeah.
When he started seeing Steph in like 2000?
Yeah.
And he's like, get the fuck out of here, China.
I thought it was like, exactly. I thought it was like,
rest in peace.
I thought it was like 99 or
both
like 2000. Oh my God. I thought it was like 99 or 2000. He like married into the business.
Oh my god, that was the most ridiculous.
The drive-in wedding scene.
Yeah, Frank, there was a drive-in wedding that he went to, and she was clearly like unconscious. And it's like, do you take Hunter as your lovely, loving husband or whatever? And he's like, as like a fucking like a ventriloquist, she's like, I do take her. And she's like, kiss the bride, and he's like kissing her. And they like showed this in the middle of like the other staged wedding she was supposed to have. It was fucking ridiculous.
We're talking about how Triple H also in the Kane mask, didn't he do the dead person? What was that? Remember the casket situation?
The casket match?
Or do you remember when the Big Show, what was it, the Big Show pulled away in the casket at the funeral?
No, wasn't that Big Boss Man?
Was
that
Big Show's dad? Yeah, Big Show's dad.
Big Boss Man just pulled the casket.
Frank, when I tell you that some of the things that have happened in the WWE have happened, you'd be like, what? I'm sorry, did you just say what you said? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the Mae Young and the sexual chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh my
with
god,
the baby.
Dude. Oh
yeah.
my lord.
Dude, Mark Henry had sex with Mae Young, who Mark Henry is still an amazing like wrestler and part of the industry who I still think did not get the amount of time and love that he deserved. Regardless, he was like put in a storyline with this woman, Mae Young, who was a wrestler from like the 70s.
She's like 80s.
Like
70s,
she was like 80 at the point, and she gave birth to his child.
It was like a
It was a hand.
Yeah. It was like
What?
Yep, gave birth to a hand. That's it.
Yeah, it was covered like in red goo
Yep,
too.
that was the storyline.
Remember when the Dudley Boys did the Dudley Death Drop to Mae Young? And who was their partner or whatever? I can't remember her name.
Dude, when I tell you,
Definitely seems like it could be bonkers.
I'm gonna go on YouTube later and just type in like 10 like most absurd storylines in wrestling. Oh, let's get into this one really quickly before we transition. Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio.
Oh,
They had a match. It was a ladder match.
Ridiculous, yeah.
It was for the custody of Rey Mysterio's child.
The custody of Dominic match.
Who's now a professional wrestler?
Yeah, who's now wrestling for WWE.
Who actually is doing a good job. I will give him credit.
He is doing a good job.
I think he's doing a really good job. There was a rumor that I heard that apparently Ray said that he would love to, if he was given the chance to like let Dominic retire him, which I think would actually be a really well done thing. Do the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair thing. Yeah. If you do it, that dude, I love Rey Mysterio to death, but he's gotta throw it in soon. Like his storylines.
He said it. I think he said that it's coming up like this year. I think I saw something like that.
I think he kind of alluded to the fact that it's coming in the next couple years.
Yeah.
So that's where I get worried because it's. In the baseball terminology, I'm a Yankees fan. I love Brett Gardner to death, but for the past couple of years, they've been giving Brett Gardner the chance in the outfield where they're like, oh, it's your spot. It's your spot. And every year, you have a guy like a Clint Frazier who's a young 25-year-old outfielder that can play, still needs to grow, but you got to be put in that spot to grow. So it's like when you give the old vet who's still producing that spot, you're not giving the young guys a chance to get their spot and grow and become the players that they could be. So that's where a lot of wrestling now is flawed because they don't... AEW, where like, yes, Jericho is a main focus, but Jericho very quickly decided I'm going to have the title, I'm going to run with it, then I'm going to let Moxley beat me. Genius, because now you don't have Jericho still holding the title as an old guy, because again, he's not where he was at one point.
Well, he's also having young guys around him too, like Sammy Guevara and MJF. A lot of those guys.
He's growing.
Darby Allin.
A
lot of those guys are around him again.
He's doing an amazing. Orange Cassidy. He's doing such a good job growing these guys. Orange Cassidy is a dude that wears glasses and a Canadian tuxedo, and he just literally keeps his hands in his pockets and he wrestles basically like that.
Like from the Point Dynamite show when he's dancing. Like,
he literally rarely takes.
He'll wrestle a little bit and then he'll like put his hands in his pants. He'll like do a dive with his hands in his pockets.
He'll do like the weakest kicks to the legs. The commentators like Jim Ross is like, "Oh my god, big blows to the legs."
Dude, we need to spend a week of like Frank watching Monday Night Raw, Wednesday watch NXT and AEW, Friday watch SmackDown, and then get him to a pay-per-view. And just like on that Monday, we got to just come back here. Dude, he's gonna come back on the Monday and go. I'm never doing that shit again.
We gotta get Frank the midget wrestling, micro wrestling federation.
That was so much fun last year.
Finley was one of my best stories. But Finley was one of the best stories. Oh,
Hornswoggle. Yeah.
Hornswoggle was Vince McMahon's kid.
Remember the midget fucking Royal Rumble they did, and they all came out as the fucking wrestlers.
Wrestling is so bad when it comes to shit like that because they're like they allowed that shit to happen. Like they like in certain cases where you're like. Oh boy!
Midget wrestling, I really want to go.
It was so much fun last year. Me and Dan went.
All right, so I'll really quickly before we get into like again the meat and potatoes here. I do want to bring up one last thing that really has irked me with wrestling recently. So, have you guys watched anything about how Retribution came into effect?
No.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay. Retribution was this group that was being teased for a while of like anarchists in the WWE.
Okay.
They like didn't approve of what was going on.
Kind of like the Nexus?
Yes.
Somewhat? Okay.
Yeah.
Like the Nexus, but they were like getting teased. And then they finally came and I want to say they trashed a Monday Night Raw and a Friday Night SmackDown. Like completely came in overwhelming numbers and like beat up everyone that was in the ring, and then like the next weekend they beat up everybody that was in the crowd. Like, dude, completely destroyed like the commentator's desk. Like, broke the rings. They did a really good job because I was like, who's in this faction? Like, what is going on? Like, this is sick. And when they first did it, I mean, it was 20 people deep, 25 people deep, and you're like, shit. If they bring together 20 wrestlers that are all in this faction and like build up a storyline, it's genius. Like you're gonna really do well. They didn't do that. They
dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball like no other. And they finally introduced who the like main hacker and leader of the group was, which was Mustafa Ali.
I like that a lot though.
Which was smart, which was fine, but all of those people disappeared. And now it's just 5 of them.
Oh.
And their names consist of like Slapjack and T-Bar. And like I swear to God, I'll find the list of names and you'll be like, what?
Like their code names for going over to do a heist.
They literally came and went from like this intimidating faction of like guys that were fighting against the WWE and the normals and T-Bar, Slapshot. Like I have to pull it up because you'll be blown away. But that's where like it gets frustrating because like in your favorite TV show when they're like dragging on and you're like, okay, come on. Like that would have been basically like if WandaVision had given us awesome 3 first episodes and then like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 were like nothing but filler. Like, that's basically what this is, because they were like, they kind of teased it really well. We're like, oh, shit, this is going to be good. And then they were like, surprise, it's trash. Like, yeah.
Well, thank God they didn't do that with NXT. I think that was one of my favorite storylines in the past like 5 or 6 years was the NXT takeover when they destroyed the
Nexus?
set. Yeah, Nexus, yeah. That was crazy. With Daniel, the biggest star coming out of that was Daniel Bryan. And, like, it was all crazy. Like, every week, you never knew who was going to attack, but...
Wait, you're telling me Pat McAfee is not your favorite thing to happen to NXT?
I think that was a smart move.
I like
Pat too. I just like making fun of Adam.
Yeah. Oh no, I can really. Yo, Adam, really quickly while we're on the subject, let's let the fans know who's your daddy.
Let's hear it.
That's Dr. Shaquille O'Neal, actually.
Me and Adam played a lot of basketball over the summertime, and I made sure every time Adam was not on my team.
The most frustrating games I would ever play,
dude. And I mean, like we both went at it, and I love Adam to death because he was the big man. But I knew I played him one time, and I knew like how to get to him, and it was let him shoot and then play defense. Yeah. And I just would get in his head.
And Adam loves flex. He's like, yo, I got soft hands for a big man.
I do.
Like, he's like, yo, I got a sick jump shot for a big man. I'm like, shut up, dude.
Yeah, now against Luke, it wasn't falling.
When it's me, it doesn't fall.
Those violent cases are tripping you over.
Everyone else get plenty of rebounds, plenty of points, but when Luke he just knows, he just gets in the
I pull up, and Adam's like, oh, I can't wait to play this game, and he sees me fucking coming down the ring. He sees me coming out of my car, like
throw something.
You think you know me. Just me running onto the court, like, just fucking sprinting onto the court. All right, but I'll find this while we're doing whatever. But let's get into the first portion of this, which is theme songs. So we'll just kind of go into like the themes that like drove us either crazy or like your favorite. I'm probably going to talk more about like my favorites. Mm-hmm. I'll start off really quickly with like the Edge conversion for me. Mm. Originally, I hated that theme song. When I heard it, because I like remember the Money in the Bank cash-in where he just came and I was like, no!
Yeah,
I was like, no, he's doing it! Like,
that was right. The steel cage with the Taker and the Henry.
What was his nickname?
The Rated R Superstar, the Ultimate Opportunist, yeah. But dude, I hated it. I hated it so much. I heard his music and I was like, I hate you. I hate you. You're coming down and you're gonna win. And I hate it so much. And when he did that, he took he took the opportunity and he killed it. And that was something that drove me crazy for so long. But I literally am obsessed with Edge now. I think the storyline they built was so good. And the other thing that I will always respect, he's a great competitor, he's a great wrestler, and you can tell he loves what he does. When he came out in the Rumble last year, like, first off, no one knew. Like, they did a great job really keeping that
it usually gets leaked, too.
And that was leaked out nowadays,
and, dude, I was watching it, and I still, to this day, will not forget. I jumped out of the chair I was sitting on. I was watching. I was like, oh, my God, it's fucking Edge. And you saw his face come out of there.
Yeah, he was.
And when so Frank, really quickly, when these guys wrestle, like they come out. Yeah, you get off your phone. No, I'm kidding. When they wrestle, you like they go into kayfabe. Like they're their character. That's it. When he came out, he had so much emotion in his face. Like he came out and the music was going and the fans were going. Literally,
that was the loudest pop I've heard in a long time from a
loudest
WWE.
Pop since a Taker pop,
yeah,
or a Stone Cold. Stone Cold, what was it? The beer truck was probably the loudest pop.
Yeah. What do you mean loudest pop?
Like this reaction, crowd reaction.
So when a touchdown happens at an NFL game, that's a pop.
Okay, yeah.
Wrestling, it's different because wrestling, it's like when someone comes out and the pop can go one of two ways. It can go because we know it's happening. Or the best pops are when we don't know it's happening. Yeah. And like I said, Edge at the Rumble last year literally came out and fucking the place went berserk, dude. Literally stole the show. Yeah. And I thought he was going to win. I thought that would have made the most sense, but it's better that he didn't because then he ended up going and getting hurt and he tore his bicep. But, dude, that pop was amazing. And, I mean, that theme song, dude, that song gets me every time now.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. I have Edge's theme song as number one also. He was like, same thing with Luke. He always just like make
I mean, it's not number one. I will specify that.
No, I knew it was going to be Adam's number one. But
I told you.
Well, I knew it would be anyways because I know he's your favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Edge is your favorite wrestler?
Yeah, my favorite wrestler.
All right, well, we'll get to that later, but like, what? No, I love that.
Spoilers
I love
here.
that. Yeah, no spoilers. Here, Frank, watch that really quickly when you get a chance. Once it goes through that's the Edge return. You can raise it up a little bit. All right, but Edge is your guy.
Yeah, because like his music, like same thing with you. Like
it
makes me my
dude. I have his theme song on my workout playlist. I love that song.
That's mine too.
On this day.
You think you know me? I think that's the best part.
No, you're like a lot of those songs they don't have that in the original, but then they just add that one liner that you just know.
Just, dude, I swear to God, I just got chills. I just heard the fans and I went, fuck. I just got fucking crazy, dude.
Was that Booker?
Wrestlers themselves, they have to be hyped as fuck.
So, but that's the thing. That's why he got so much more hyped because he also hadn't wrestled for 9 years?
Yeah.
He
retired in 2011.
Frank, he broke his neck and he was told he could never wrestle again and he finally got cleared and that's when he came back.
Didn't he break it twice?
Twice. That was his second break.
Yeah.
And
he was told he's never 2000s against Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
That made the hype even bigger too. Yeah.
Listen, but that's
because he said he could never wrestle again.
Yeah. So everyone was like, "That's done." We were like, "That storyline's done. It's buried. It's never gonna happen."
You think he said that?
No.
He genuinely was like, "I'm never gonna wrestle again." Like my neck.
And he started a family and he started acting. He did a lot of stuff.
He was on Vikings.
And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy too because Edge and Christian both were told they could never wrestle again, and now they're both wrestling. He had a
Christian came back at the Rumble, didn't he?
Great performance at the Rumble. He really did an awesome job. But dude, I can't. Dude, Edge's song.
He's great.
Oh, it's amazing. What big ones you got?
Eddie Guerrero.
Oh.
Latino. Both of his themes. I Steal or the Latino Heat one. But more specifically, the one where him and Batista came out together in the Lowrider. That one is probably my favorite entrance. One of my favorite entrances of all time.
Oh, dude, it's so... I'm gonna like rattle. Eddie Guerrero will forever be one of my favorite wrestlers because I basically just like missed him as like
same.
He passed away obviously like a couple years before I got to the height of it. But when I got into it, he was so newly passed that I think he was a legend of just like guys that were just getting into it were so in love with him. I'll also really quickly love Hardy's theme song. Mm-hmm. I think that's an awesome theme song. There's nothing, in my opinion, better than Stone Cold. Just you hear the glass break and you're like, all right, well, here we go. Yep. The Game, Triple H's is amazing. Mm-hmm. Shawn Michaels is amazing. Like, you think I'm cute. You know I'm sexy. Yeah. No. Triple H, like, Time to Play the Game, like, awesome theme song. Taker's is good.
His is iconic, I would say.
I
would say it's more like everyone knows. When you hear the bells, you're like, oh shit, who fucking invited Undertaker?
Taker's is great and iconic. I will say I think Kane's might even be better.
Yeah, I like Kane's more.
And I think Kane's might stick more because of his premiere after Undertaker.
Yeah.
Undertaker had a better coming out of like, oh my god, this guy's terrifying. But when Kane came and ripped the door off the cage, like that was the 90s. I wasn't even watching it at that point, but I watched it back. Kane was his brother in a storyline, the Big Red Machine.
His half-brother was supposed to be dead.
Yes.
Lie I ever heard.
He killed him as a child, Undertaker. Killed his half-brother.
In like a fire, right?
Yes,
something like that.
In a fire. A couple years later, Undertaker's been doing well and then is in this match, and Kane, his brother, comes out.
What was that, 98?
98 in the Hell in the Cell?
Hell in the Cell, yeah.
And just ripped the door off the cell to like this ultimate premiere. Amazing moment. Rob Van Dam's amazing.
Yeah.
I will end before we go into like more talk because obviously I feel like I'm giving away every person that I love. So like my top 5 wrestlers basically all of my favorite songs. But I will say everyone loves CM Punk Cult of Personality.
That's a great
I
song.
wasn't a big fan of that
See,
one.
I 100% agree with you.
His original,
No,
This Fire
is
so much
light years better.
That was supposed to be Randy's.
100. Yep.
That was supposed to be Randy's.
And I don't think it would have stuck with Randy as well because This Fire was not a Randy Orton song because Randy Orton's a slow guy.
No, yeah, the voices is way better and more suited for him.
Nothing was better when CM Punk came out, and I mean, it just started with Killswitch Engage, like, just like screaming on the way out, and you're like, oh, sick. Let's go.
Especially because he was from ECW, that whole metal persona. He had all the tats, the long, stupid hair.
He was straight edge. Like, he had the tats, he had the short hair, he had the tattoos all over. Like, Killswitch Engage was, like, literally him. Yeah. But then it went to Cult of Personality, which is still an amazing song.
Yeah, it was so good.
Amazing song. It fit him well, but it's like CM Punk was a hardcore guy. Cult of Personality's rock. Yeah. So, like, it's still hardcore and whatever, but it just didn't fit, in my opinion, as well as This Fire did, where you heard that pop and you were like, boy. And CM Punk would come out and he'd do the he'd freak out with his hair, and so he had like taped up gloves, and he'd be like, dude, it was, I'm freaking out just
Cult of Personality, I love when he used to go on one knee and just go like it's clobbering. I used to love that shit too.
And he built a really good storyline for himself. It's just I wish he had a part of me always wishes he stayed for just like that old school, like just that hardcore, just gritty, like I'm listening to vulgar, disgusting rock.
Yeah,
rock on.
Yeah, the only thing about that was if that happened, I don't think he would ever get the great moments we had with him, like with the Cult of Personality, like. We wouldn't probably have the pipe bombs like that.
Those are iconic. He would have still had the pipe bombs.
Don't get me fucking started on the pipe bombs, dude. I am not a fan of those, dude. He just sounds like a whiny bitch. Like, I get it that there are people.
My favorite pipe bomb one was with the Stone Cold ice cream you keep talking about. I really like that one too.
Which one was that?
He's like, WWE started bringing like Stone Cold ice cream pops.
Oh.
Like old school 90s. I just like that one.
Those were good. Those were good ice pops.
Yeah, they were.
If you ever had those, you ever remember that?
No.
It was a.
Frank the Batman
like
was
white, yellow. It was basically
Sonic the Hedgehog.
It was a white ice cream sandwich. It had like 2 like almost golden Oreo patties. It was basically a frozen golden Oreo, and it just had like Stone Cold on it or The Rock on it or whoever from like back in the day. Amazing ice pops.
It would be cool if like it was the same thing, but it had like the WWE logo on it, like the fucking belt would have.
They probably have it now.
Yeah, they probably have that.
They probably, Frank, we're going to really quickly put a trademark on that.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna get to the work.
So Dan, why do you like the pipe bombs?
Dude, he just sounded whiny. Like it was just annoying. Like I'll watch them now too, and I'll still feel the same way.
I think
it's like, how can you whine and how can you complain that other people are getting paid more than you when you had the longest reign in WWE history?
Yeah, exactly.
How are you going to sit here and be like, Cena's the face? Like, he's John Cena, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
look at him. He's twice your fucking size. He's over for everybody.
And also the marketability.
Oh
I mean,
God,
like,
it was just
like
ridiculous.
CM Punk, I will agree to an extent where CM Punk is getting mad about it. And, like, I mean, like, I think the real wrestling fans loved CM Punk because he was a wrestler. Like, that was him. But, again, WWE is 80%, 60% the fans that are not our age.
No, it's mostly the kids, especially during that time of the PG era,
and now it's a lot of women and girls are getting into it. And, like, a girl is going to love John Cena. They're not going to look at CM Punk and be like, love of my life. Like,
yeah, right?
I know girls that we grew up with back in the day that loved John Cena. They didn't watch wrestling, but they were like, fuck, that guy's a stud. And I'm like, shit, I got to get like John Cena.
I mean, CM Punk is literally the complete, his body type is also the complete opposite.
Complete opposite.
If you look at the early 90s, everyone was massive.
Oh, dude.
Like, if you were...
Well, everyone was
who was it?
on steroids, too.
Yeah, but still, guys were like 6'5", 6'6". Yeah. Like, Cena would have technically been small back in fucking 87.
And 02, well, when did he premiere? 03? 03? Remember when he wrestled Angle?
Yeah.
When he fucking wrestled Angle?
Ruthless aggression.
Exactly, the ruthless aggression era.
The most aggressive thing he's ever said in his life.
I get the reason for the pipe bombs. Like,
he's spitting it.
I get the reason for the pipe bomb. Like, that year he was white hot. He should have made it on WrestleMania. He was like the co-main event. That's what he's pissed off about.
Okay,
That's
quick TV timeout. Adam,
yes.
Please tell Frank about the pipe bomb. Like, explain the premise of it, because he probably is like, "What the fuck? There was a pipe bomb at the ring."
Sometimes out of nowhere, or he would open the show, right? Yeah. He would like go on stage, or most times during the middle of a match, he would just sit there on the ramp and just saying whatever on his mind, like about the ice.
Not scripted.
Not scripted. All off script. Sometimes WWE had to cut off his mic. Like he says, "Oh, it's actually one time the most outrageous one he said was WWE would be a lot better when Vince McMahon's dead."
Yeah. So it was
now he's
great.
Back with the company.
It was really smart because they realized this guy is a lunatic and they loved it because he had almost a Joker personality. Like he literally at any point could just pop off, and it was great because people loved that. They were like, "Holy shit, CM Punk's saying whatever the hell he wants." We love this because everything in WWE is scripted, but it needs to feel genuine to a certain degree. Like you can't just get behind a storyline if it's like, "I'm CM Punk and I'm gonna beat you up." Like, that was Hulk Hogan back in the day. That's not how...
I'll tell you something, brother!
Let me tell you something, brother!
We're Saddam Hussein brothers!
But, like, that was what made wrestling, like, so good, was, like, he did really bring a whole new era of wrestling because he was that guy that was a lunatic. And
I think he was like, bringing it back, the unscripted. Because wasn't it mostly scripted during that time, too?
They say it, but the pipe bomb that everyone thinks of... I don't think that was scripted.
No, I mean like him being unscripted is bringing back the unscripted of wrestling.
Yes.
Because most promos were just like off the
dome.
Yeah, just off the top of that. Like if you watch, The Rock is probably the best one to watch with his promos. He would say the most absurd shit, and it was never scripted. Like what was it? Michael Cole knocked one of the announcers back in the day. He was an interviewer. He knocks on. He's like, "Hey, Rock," and Rock opens the door up, and he's naked. He's supposed to be naked, and Michael Cole looks down. He goes, "Michael Cole, are you looking at people's strudel?" And just closes the door. That's all he said.
The Rock, I think, will, if we had a whole list of the best mic skills, I think The Rock is number one.
There's a reason why he's transcended Hollywood. There's a reason.
John Cena was in the Marine. What do you mean? How dare you? Miz was in the Marine 3, 4, and 5.
Randy was supposed to be in the Marine, but got dropped.
Thank God he got dropped.
Yeah, dude.
Smarter than he did.
Thank God he went AWOL back in the day.
A-lister.
Oh my God. All right, so do you guys have any? We'll go into moments next, but are there any other like theme songs you really want to quickly off the top of your head?
I always like Goldberg's. Just not the music, not the music.
No, I know.
I like his whole entrance walk-up thing back when it was like WCW, where it was literally him going from his locker room like a
MJF was a guy there also, by the way, right?
Yeah, he was.
Did you know that?
What's up?
MJF was one of his staghands.
Really?
For one of Goldberg's
he was.
walkouts.
You see him in one of them. Yeah, he pushes him, doesn't he? Doesn't he like shove him to the ground?
I think so. So Goldberg was a wrestler that still wrestles now, but in WCW, which was not affiliated with WWE originally. Then it got bought. Whatever. Goldberg was this massive dude. His name is Bill Goldberg. He would literally just wear these like UFC boxers like tights and just had UFC gloves on and was just a body. And for the longest time he was undefeated. And
I think he went 100-0.
Yeah, literally didn't lose a match, and it was never a long match. It was like he'd
Yeah.
go in there.
I don't think he lost in
destroy you.
WCW.
He did it.
I think his first loss was the Brock in 04, maybe?
Was it? I thought he lost in WCW, came to WWE, and then
Didn't DDP beat him in WCW?
maybe.
I think DDP was supposed to win. I know he hit him with the Diamond Cutter in their one match, and everyone started going crazy, and then I think he got interrupted.
He probably,
he probably got kicked out or something.
But basically,
something like that. I know he hit the 100-0 mark.
damn it! Every episode.
Damn it, Frank.
I fucking do this every episode. Frank, you're an idiot.
100-0, but this was all scripted that he was always
Yes.
going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still an amazing accolade.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listen, if you get the right backing, you'll go 200-0. Like,
Yeah.
you can just win every match if you want.
Yeah,
My-
still props to him.
Yeah.
My
of
only
course.
beef with Goldberg is I've seen this from like recent interviews come out that like wrestlers hated going against it. 'Cause he
Oh,
was,
yeah,
like
'cause-
Brett said, okay, just try not to break multiple bones on me. This
So
time.
I mean, if you
wa-
watched his last match with Taker in fucking Saudi, like, don't even get me started.
He literally almost.
He knocked himself out.
So
Like, what an idiot.
he's the definition of a big body,
Yeah.
but not athletic.
So
Well, he is athletic, but he's... I would say he is athletic,
Not
and he's a
coordinated.
big body.
How about that? So
I mean, he played football professionally,
Yeah.
but still, it's like he was also the guy. He wasn't a functional strong. Like, there's a bunch of guys in the WWE they always talk about. Like Kane's a
Yep.
big one where they pick you up and you're like, you feel safe. You feel safer than you're staying
Like
on your own
Cena,
feet.
yeah.
Like that. But Goldberg was just ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
like he
was
what
just
was it?
he was just reckless. Like he'd
Yeah.
pick you up, and he was so like in the moment, so strong that he wasn't being careful with putting you down.
Okay.
Because I mean, dude, your finishers are like a lot of the time if you get speared or if you get spine busted or.
Well, his spear was ridiculous. He has the best spear. It looked
Yeah.
sick, but I could not want to
Oh,
be
if
on that.
I
end
would
of that.
never want to take
It
his
was
spear.
straight up a football tackle. Like,
I
he really
might
just
rather
fly
want
at
to
you
get
and
hit
just
by
shove
Tyson.
his shoulder in your
I
fucking
literally
chest.
might just rather just be like Tyson, just give me one.
at least you
Then-
get knocked out.
Then take a Goldberg spear. Like,
multiple broken ribs.
but
Can't breathe.
basically
At
he
least
would
you get knocked
he would
out.
like come from the locker room and like he would basically like it would pan to the camera on like the hallway and his locker door, and he would like come out of the room and like slam the door, and he would walk down to the ring, and there would be security with him, and like they would play his
It would
music
be like
and he'd come to
trumpets
the
and
ramp.
shit,
Yeah, and then he'd like come to the ramp, and he was supposed to be like this intimidating security like unstoppable force. But you know, like they were
fireworks would
saying,
go off.
he was very reckless with it, and he wasn't careful. Like Undertaker, he like does a flip on him, and he like basically
He goes to do
broke
the
Taker's neck.
Yeah, he
like,
goes to do the jackhammer, his one finisher, where he goes up to the top of the suplex. He used to do where he would hold him up at the top and then like march around the ring,
And
then he would like do a torque. But this one with Undertaker, he literally got him up and then just started collapsing, and Taker literally dropped like right on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
And when he knocked himself out, Taker was in the turnbuckle, like the corner, and he went to go spear him. And Taker moved out of the way, and fucking Goldberg, like the idiot that he is, fucking hits his head on the fucking metal post.
Yep.
Cuts himself open. Like, you know, they usually do blade jobs when they want to bleed, when they want to get color.
Yeah.
But this one, he just hits his head on the metal so hard, he started
literally.
bleeding and knocked himself out.
Yep. And for the record, it is a lot easier for most of the time for wrestlers if they do take a significant enough bump. Again, I'm not saying if you hit yourself into a pole, you're not going to bleed, but they're on thinners, or is it thick?
Blood thinners thing made him bleed easier.
Yeah. Regardless,
I mean, they're probably drunk
They
half
would
the time,
take
probably
like one or
tipsy.
two blood thinners. Yeah, exactly. They would drink a bunch and probably take one or two blood thinners, and they'd go out and wrestle. And it like doesn't affect their state. But like if they take a big enough slam, they're gonna start kind of clotting up here, and then you get a
Like,
little
what was it,
cut, and you're gonna start bleeding.
Like, what was it, JBL, Eddie Guerrero, when Eddie cut his forehead,
Yeah.
he nicked an artery, and he
God.
lost so much blood, he had to be taken to the hospital because he collapsed after the match.
Dude.
So there's a situation like that, and the other situation where he knocked himself out, where like the whole thing's scripted. It's like, oh shit, this just happened.
I mean,
we just kind of have.
Now
to
they have to
play
wing it. Yeah, just gotta wing it.
gotta
The
wing it.
best way that I like to tell people that I'm like, okay, it's all fake, right? Like wrestling's all fake. That's how you feel.
Obviously, not everything goes as planned.
So, but what what I say is, go and watch Undertaker Mankind.
Yeah.
Or
what was that? Oh no, it was Mick Foley, right? Or
No, it was Mankind.
No, it was Mankind. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
Mankind.
or the more extreme version of that is when it was an accident, but Owen Hart passed away in the middle of
God.
in the
That was
middle of a
ridiculous.
match.
Did you see the Dark Side of the Ring for that one?
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
he broke his
amazing.
neck,
That
he
one was so
passed
bad.
away like at ringside.
like on the spot.
Okay, so
It was
but
in the middle of the show.
there is. I'll send you. You got to watch the Dark Side of the Ring for that though, because you will be. It's a really,
You also have
really
to-
well put together.
You also have to watch Dark Side of the Ring for the Benoit.
Benoit one's really good.
Yeah, it's a two-parter.
Chris Benoit's the guy, remember I talked about a while ago that I said it was really good. That was when I told you about Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes.
Remember I said he was the one who died and killed his family,
Yes,
that whole thing?
Yeah.
Chris Benoit, sadly enough, one of my favorite wrestlers.
Same here.
Shot, man.
Wow.
I can't
Like-
you can't even really say it now because sadly enough,
See,
like,
his son he's going to AEW.
Is
I
he
think.
really? That's
and,
sick.
and his name, he's going to keep Benoit as his last name.
that's
He's going in as David
Frank,
Benoit.
it's literally
Yeah,
taboo
Frank.
to say his name.
Frank, so that's gonna be Undertaker Mankind. So this is what I tell people to watch when I say if you think wrestling is all fake, it is to a degree. It's scripted. It's whatever. Things
fake the
like
bumps.
that you can't fake bumps. So you might want to like click once or twice on that, like a quick like.
That's one of my favorite moments. That one match.
Did he fall yet?
No, he's climbing up.
Perfect.
That one scene is just so. You know that one picture. You know the picture I'm talking about, where
yeah,
Taker's just
he's
on
above
top.
him and he's on the ground.
Yeah,
yep.
he's just on top, looking down. It's like holy shit.
Yeah.
That one's just. I don't know what.
And I mean, if you watch anything Foley related, like you, I
It's
mean,
all
like
extreme.
yeah.
He's called a hardcore
It's just,
legend
dude,
for a reason. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or the one
Like-
with Edge where he got speared through the fucking flaming
Oh,
table.
God.
That was my
nuts.
first Mania match that I watched. Yeah,
No,
it was crazy.
or-
That was in Mania.
Or Hardy.
That was
getting-
Mania.
Or Edge spearing Hardy off the ladder.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was crazy.
one of the best moments, dude. Nothing like him, man. He's the GOAT.
I love JR.
JR, baby.
Didn't Mick? I think he lost a tooth and it went through his cheek.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, he did.
This guy's in like a.
For anyone that's
a work shirt.
Yes, Mankind.
Yeah.
that's Mankind.
He's got
Oh.
3 personas.
Oh.
He's got Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and
Mankind and Mick Foley. Mankind.
what
and
was
Mick
it? What was it? Royal Rumble '99, where he came out as all
Foley. Came out as all
3.
three, yeah.
You can't forget about Commissioner Foley either.
Oh yeah, when he was the commissioner. I think it's coming up.
You have a nice day.
Yeah, have a nice day, Adam. Yeah, see you, Adam. Come on, throw him off. Oh, it's coming up. Look, he's walking away.
If anyone's watching
Here
at
it goes.
home, we're watching one of the most anticipated moments in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Look at Frank. I wish you, Frank, do you have a camera on you? God damn it, we don't have a camera on you. Oh my God, the one moment I needed. This is Frank's face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a picture like zoomed all the way out of him, of Taker looking down like that. At
Yeah,
Mick Foley.
and that was the first fall. Because the second fall.
Yeah, the
did
second
you watch
one-
the second one?
No, that
Did
didn't
it-
have
did
the
it
second
come
one.
up?
No, I didn't have the
Yeah,
second
Frank
one.
The second
goes
one-
here and he goes like, do it again.
Yeah, and he climbs up to the top again, and the second one he goes through the cell and falls to the ring.
Shit.
So that's where I say I'm like those bumps, they're not fake. Like you're not like, and the ring is soft, but it's not. So it's not a fucking blind.
It has give.
It has give,
But
but it
it's
doesn't
still
have
gonna
give when
hurt.
you're
It's
falling.
still gonna hurt.
Yeah, but let's think about Foley. The first time he fell, guess what? He didn't fall onto
fell
a
on a
ring. He
fucking
fell onto
table.
an announce
I mean,
table.
you legit have to be a professional. You
Literally.
That's not. I don't think that's just being a professional.
No, I
that's
think
just
that's being a psychopath.
That's just being a badass.
That's Mick
Badass
Foley being Mick.
stuntman,
Dumbass,
basically.
maybe?
Dumbass too.
That's why Mick Foley's one of the best, because that man literally probably would be like, "Yep, just whatever you want to do."
Yeah,
dude.
right?
Just sure. Just yeah. You want to send me off? Fine. I mean, dude, he was in matches where it was like nails. So nails were a big thing. Tacks were a big thing in the 90s into the 2000s.
Yes.
Every match had fucking tacks in it. Everything had barbed wire.
Especially
on
in
it.
ECW.
Everything.
TNA too. It's a whole
Barbed
year,
wire?
honestly.
Barbed wire. I mean, like
Barbara. Was
a
that the
lot
bat
of
with
people.
barbed wire?
Yeah,
A lot of
barbed
people
wire.
allude to the fact that the
bat
barbed
with the
wire
barbed
was
wire,
like
so-
dulled, or it was. I mean, you think of the barbed wire, you think of like the big blade
Yeah.
that has like the
Yeah,
double
yeah,
side like
right.
that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it would be like kind of cut down or whatever,
Yeah.
and luckily it was never really like. I mean, they didn't like stick it in their back and then just like leave it there. Like they would kind of, they'd hit them and
Drop it. Yeah.
judge it off, or like like. But there were certain times you were like, oh, okay, that's a real thing. Jericho took tack hits. Remember that Jericho match against was it against Foley?
I think so.
Right, when he put him in. Oh, dude. And these guys, these thumbtacks, like they dull them down, but like
Still goes in your body.
you got
I know
100
Randy took a
thumbtacks.
bad one. He took a bad tap
against-
bump.
against
Against
Foley,
Foley, yeah, he
yep.
went to an
I
RKO.
think, like, 60%
Foley just
of his
chucked
back
him.
was covered with them. It was
covered
crazy.
in them. Yeah. So to a degree, yes, it's there, but it's not. All right, so we'll kind of keep going on like best moment
Yeah.
kind of things. So I started off how bad I hated Edge. I hated Edge so much. It was so good that he was such a good villain.
Yeah.
That was something that drove me crazy. DX coming back.
Oh, yeah.
I loved when DX came back, because especially, like, it was so good then because it was literally, like, it was such good comedy towards the McMahons and towards the fans. And, dude, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, two of the greatest, playing together and just bouncing off each other. Oh, it was, dude, chef's kiss. Amazing. Ray winning the Rumble after Eddie passing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Rey Mysterio and the Dominic, remember we told you the custody battle?
Yes.
That match. Eddie was Eddie his godfather,
Yeah.
Dominic's godfather in
Yeah.
real life? Like, in real life, they
And
knew
Ray's
each other.
best friend.
They were, like, great friends. And once Eddie passed, the WWE set up a storyline to let Rey Mysterio rise to power. Because in all honesty, a lot of people say he wouldn't have gotten to the point that he did. I mean, if Eddie didn't pass, I don't think Ray would have won that Rumble. I hate to say it, but I do really think.
He won. Didn't he win the heavyweight title that year?
But
was
that's from the
afterwards at
Rumble. Yeah, no,
WrestleMania?
that was at WrestleMania against
Batista.
Yes, yeah.
Or was it Randy?
I honestly can't remember.
It might have been Randy. I remember him.
To be honest, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, but like, a side note for that, like a lot of people say, even from the Dark Side of the Ring Chris Benoit special, they said if Eddie didn't die, Benoit might not have snapped like this.
Oh no,
Yeah.
there's like a lot of people that allude to the fact that he wouldn't have. He would have. I mean,
So that was like that was
that
The
was
Rock.
so when
Yeah.
when Eddie passed away, they were best friends. They were in WCW together.
New Japan.
They in New Japan together. They wrestled together. They were like family friends. They
Super
were
religious.
They were he.
Eddie was.
I think
Chris
Eddie,
wasn't.
Well, I think, but Chris was
Because
starting to like.
After Eddie
become-
died, he started to become.
Yes. So basically, he had such heavy involvement. And again, a lot of these guys are, I mean, like, they take bumps. They're on the road so much. Like, they're not that they're mentally unstable, but they're drained. These guys are drained. And then your best friend just died at the age of, how old was Eddie?
36.
40? Yeah, he wasn't even 50 yet, dude. He
Wasn't even 40. He was
No,
36.
yeah,
Heart
yeah.
failure, yep.
Wow.
Heart failure. A lot of people originally were saying it was pill-related, but I don't...
I mean, he was on a
you
lot
know.
of juice.
Yeah, of
And
course.
he was also
but-
he was a drug addict for a while.
Yeah,
but then
and
he
came
He got
away
clean.
from it.
He got clean.
he came
Yeah.
clean.
So it just, it was...
Still though.
Super,
Yeah.
super sad story with it all. It was such a bummer, and the Benoit story as well. Just so, it was when the sad thing is when wrestling does tie into real life. Like that's why AEW did such an amazing job with the Brody Lee thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was our highest rated episode so far.
but deservingly so. Brody Lee was a wrestler that was in WWE, didn't really get that much of shine. He worked very close with Bray Wyatt, the guy that I said was the Fiend.
Yeah.
They had like a family faction, whatever. WWE eventually released him during the pandemic, right? The beginning
I
of the
believe
pandemic.
so, yeah.
yeah.
He got hired by AEW and did amazing over there. He was doing a really good storyline, whatever. And he was fighting, was it colon cancer or
I think it was his lungs.
something?
It was something with his lungs, but it was not COVID related, is what they
Yeah. So
officially,
basically,
ruled it.
and everyone thought he was fine, and then he took time away from the ring because he wanted to get healthy. And out of nowhere, that no one knew of, like they did a very good job hiding
I
it.
saw posts about
Yeah,
it.
and he passed. And again, I will never be someone to clout chase and say that was my favorite guy. But I respect the work he did,
Yeah.
and I respect that he went to AEW and made a name for himself. Because when the WWE does that, I hate that because. I mean, they just hold on to talent and they basically let them die in WWE, and they're like, "We're never releasing you," and like, it's a spite thing. But when they let him
Don't get me started
go,
on that either.
it sucks. It sucks that they let him go, but I mean, he turned it into such a good thing. And WWE released like a tribute video, which they did a decent job on. They were like, "Okay, thank you for your time, whatever." But WWE is, if you're not with them, you're against them. So
Yeah.
they didn't do it to the way that a lot of people wanted them to. It was good. But it was like, this guy gave you like 10 years and like maybe less, maybe more. That's it. Like he just died. Like he's gone. Like it's not like he retired. Like he's gone. And AEW had his son come in, and AEW retired the belt that he had, like the style belt. They said no one ever will use this style belt.
I think
again.
his kid's the only one. And they gave it to his kid whose name is Brody. They gave it to him.
So his son Brody like got the belt and like won it. And then they retired it. So now his son is the like holder of the belt, and they've brought his son on, and that's the way to do it. That's a class act. Like,
I think the most chilling moment, like from that, was like a week or two before like he passed away. He went up to Cody and says, "Thank you for giving the best night of my life," because he had like a career night. I forgot exactly what happened then. I think he won a title.
Yeah, no, that was when it was probably maybe a month. Let's say a month, because you got to give it a timeline that in a month that he probably got sick and whatever. He went and he won this title, and he was doing a really good storyline of what was he, the Messiah? No, he wasn't the Messiah. He was the prophet.
No,
Brody
he was
Lee.
was he the Dark One?
The Acolyte? Or the
No,
Dark One?
wait, what is it, dude? It's something.
You know what I'm talking
the
about.
Exalted One.
The Exalted One. So he was doing this crazy good storyline. He was in this crazy dramatic, like, cape/suit thing. It was really well done. And again, I'm not the biggest AEW fan, but I was like, dude, they're smart with this guy. And he won it. And then did Cody win it back from him? Or who won it? Didn't someone win it back from him right before he got sick?
I think he lost right before he got sick.
I think he might have alluded to the fact that, because a lot of the time if a guy's hurt or if they're taking time off or if they're having a kid and they have a title, they have to go out and they have to lose it before they leave. Like something, and then they go on, they tore this, they did that, whatever happened. So I think he lost it, and then like Adam said, he said, "Thank you so much for giving me like the best night ever." And then a couple weeks later, he like passed. So it was really just well done on AEW, where they were like, shit, man, like this guy had such involvement. He was with these young guys. He was telling them what to do. He was so committed, where WWE becomes more of a company. They're more corporate. They are more focused on do your script, cut your lines, leave the stadium. AEW is a little bit more of like a small business, like old school family kind of style, where he would spend that extra time. He would grow with you, and like Vince McMahon, if Vince McMahon doesn't like you or whatever, like number one, you might never meet the guy because he's so high up, like he's at the top of the food chain, unattainable. Where AEW, what's his name?
Tony
Khan. Tony Khan, who's the son of the Jaguars owner, one of the richest men in the world, like Tony Khan convinced his dad, like, let's partner up, let's do this, let's buy this, let's make this, and they've made it into something good. But Tony Khan wasn't just that guy that signs the checks and is like, have a good day. He was that guy that was at every show. He was writing the storylines, listening to what was happening.
And he's active on social media, too.
Yeah, active on social media. So that's where, like, a lot of people were like, dude, the WWE just dropped the ball with that shit, man. Like, I mean, there's been other stories where they haven't addressed it. Like, Umaga passed away.
Oh,
and
they didn't even say anything.
They buried that under the rug. Same thing with
China.
Benoit. China was absurd, too. China passed away, and they were like, okay, yeah, that happened. Yeah. Like, Benoit happened, and they gave him the send-off, and then they were like, shit.
Yeah, that one I feel like they kind of had to, though. You know what I mean? Even as much as
no, but didn't they cut it and then they had to pull it? Remember, because they didn't know what happened originally.
Yeah.
I think they like said like thank you for your time, and they gave him this heartfelt thing, and then like the story broke that like he killed his family, and they were like,
yeah, no, we got to take this out, erase him from fucking wrestling history.
Yeah, so like from that point on, he's been, and that's the sad part about the WWE. Going back to the Owen Hart thing, Owen Hart, where it gets dark is that like they were cutting corners with Owen Hart because he was a mid-carder. He was still a good enough and big enough wrestler, but they didn't give him as much attention. So he was coming from the top of the ring, and they didn't do enough checks, and they gave him a... what did she say?
It was like a faulty clip.
So it was a faulty clip, and his wife said they put 9 pounds of pressure on it, and it would have worked.
She said they didn't really test it, and then they used a different clip and like a different harness than what Owen was practicing with.
Yeah, so
because he would get up there and put on the harness and actually like do it without actually doing it.
Yep.
And then he gets up there day of, and it's like a different harness.
Well, and he had done it, hadn't he? Done it a few times.
Yeah, he had. Yeah,
and he had done it, and like he said, done it in this city, done it in that city. He had done it other places, and then when they got to this city and he was practicing, they were like, no, you're good. Don't practice these times. Not that they killed him, like it was an assassination or a murder.
There's definitely some,
but there was definitely some cutting
shit.
corners and some fuck shit. And yes, because literally the wife said, and the wife still has the clip. She's like, 9 pounds of pressure broke this. He's not 9 pounds. He's probably close to 200, if not more.
He's probably 210,
so,
215.
That's why the Dark Side of the Ring is really great, because they highlight that, and the WWE like denounces Owen Hart. They like don't talk about it because the wife has sued the WWE since. They want to put him in the Hall of Fame. The wife's like, fuck you guys. You. Like, no.
Dark Side of the Ring obviously isn't affiliated with the WWE.
No,
not at all.
They're affiliated with Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho's like the, what is he, the commentator?
He's
what's
like
the word? What's the word for it? I can't think of it.
I want to say like spokesperson or the narrator.
Narrator, there we go, yeah.
WWE doesn't even like
Oh no.
I don't want to say that they
promote.
No, because
one, it has
time. It's not.
Well, one, they got Chris Jericho, who's not even affiliated with them anymore, and
which
Jim
is their
Ross.
Own fault, which
yeah,
is their own
it is
fault.
their own fault. But then they also have Jim Ross, the old commentator from WWE. They released him, and then now he's the AEW commentator, and now he goes on. Because didn't he ask for his job back or something? They're like, nah, like we got other guys. So then and then he went back.
What happened with Ross is it was right after Ric Flair's son passed away. It was a WWE video game event. It was maybe a week after his son passed away, and WWE thought it was enough time for Rick to go. Rick was completely plastered, and Rick didn't get penalized or anything. Jim Ross got penalized. He asked for his job back. They said no, and then he left.
Yeah,
it's so. But again, that's where it becomes like the shady shit and like the dark side of the ring, which is
I'm interested in watching those.
Dude, you'll really like them. Again, even if you don't watch wrestling, it gives enough backstory and enough explanation onto like what it's going on and what it is, and it's really well done. But just so we can get to our main points too, I'll mention my last two. I'll let you guys talk. HBK Ric Flair, the "I'm sorry, I love you." One of the best moments ever. I was at that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Amazing, dude. So basically, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. Ric Flair is considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He was like prior to WWE a really good wrestler. Came into WWE and still did like amazing things. Shawn Michaels was like the pride and joy of WWE in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah,
like, that was
and then he left.
Yeah,
he stopped wrestling in 97, 98
back
because he had back issues, and he had a hiatus for like 3-4 years. Like he came back in like 2001, 2002, something like that.
Triple H, yeah.
And then he feuded with Triple H. But regardless, he was basically whatever. They built the storyline up of where Shawn Michaels was a legend at that point already. Like, he could have retired and he would have been considered. And I still think he is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. The storyline was basically like Ric Flair was given the ultimatum that, like, the next time you lose, you're done. You're like, done from wrestling. So he kept winning all these matches, like, finding a way to win. And then finally, I think, like, Rick was basically like, you're going to be the one, like, and I want to face you against Shawn Michaels. And Shawn was like, I don't want to be, like, I don't want to retire you. Like, I don't want to, like, no, like, we're family. Like, I love you. I respect you. I don't want to do that to you. And it basically got to the point where, like, Rick kept pushing him, and Shawn's like, all right, fine, we're going to wrestle. And Rick's like, don't worry, you're not going to retire me. And they had an amazing match. They literally played it off so well. And the final shot is basically, like, Rick is exhausted and fighting in that ring. And Shawn's in the corner, and, like, his signature move is Sweet Chin Music. You've probably seen it, where he literally kicks you in the chin, like, goes to sleep. If I showed it to you, you'd know what it is. And basically they like pan to him, and he's like in the ring, and he's like in the corner. He's like, I'm sorry, I love you. And he does it, and he kicks him, and then pins him, and then it ends. And after the match, like, he goes, like, Ric Flair goes to his family, and he hugs them, and he says goodbye to the fans and the crowd. And I mean, that is like the good story, right? Like, that's the story arcs and the writing that WWE needs to follow. Like, not everyone has to be that detailed and that good, but that's where people fall in love with it. Like, there were people crying at the stadium. I was about to cry at the stadium. I was in 300 seats. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? Like, you know, those are the storylines that you gotta build up to. And then, I mean, Undertaker, HBK, both WrestleManias. I mean, dude, those, I can't even, I'm like not even gonna get into detail, because, like, if you go and watch those two WrestleManias, the two of them together,
they're perfect.
Just, dude, perfect matches, perfectly put together. And that's the thing, dude. Wrestling is all about the storylines. When the storylines go well together, you could even have a mediocre match, and it's still going to be that much better because the storyline is there. So, those are just some of my favorite moments. I'll let you guys kick it on real quick, and then we'll get into the big ones.
All right, one of my favorite moments is definitely between Stone Cold and Booker T at the grocery store brawl.
Oh, bro.
That's one of my favorite moments. I love that.
That was probably the earliest cinematic match.
Yeah.
So basically, Stone Cold and Booker T literally fought in a grocery store. The WWE, I think, rented out a grocery store, like, bought all product and whatever they damaged, whatever. So Stone Cold literally beat the absolute shit out of Booker T in a grocery store, like, throwing him into the fruits and vegetables and the produce. Getting a gallon of milk and, like, throwing it on him, putting him in a cart, dude. Such a good match, such a great storyline. Like, Oh my god, I can't even believe this shit. Like, oh Frank,
That whole
would
thi-
you believe if I told you two guys wrestled in a grocery store? Like
that whole thing with Stone Cold and Vince, because they're like, "Damn it, there's a fire! Where are the firemen?" And then Stone Cold dressed him as a fireman. He's like, "Hey Vince," and then starts beating the shit out of
are
him.
you gonna have the medical one or no?
I have the
Oh
Do you have it on it or no?
I did.
I'm on
That's
it.
fine. I'm not gonna talk about it. Then we'll get to it.
There's
And then my next one is HBK Undertaker WrestleMania 25. That's still one of my all-time favorite matches.
Amazing.
I had the Hardy brothers coming back a couple of WrestleManias ago. That was a huge.
That was a
pop.
big one.
Amazing.
I love that. This is probably one of my either my top 5 or is tied. It's the first ever TLC triple threat match between the Hardys,
Dudleys
and
Christian and Edge.
Yeah,
The Brood.
yeah, Brood.
Not the Brood. They weren't the Brood then, but
No, but that's
I
that
hated
legendary
that.
spear.
Terrible.
That spear from Edge to
Jeff.
Hardy.
Oh,
that
dude.
was wild.
So Jeff Hardy was hanging from what was
The
it?
title. Yeah.
Jeff Hardy was hanging from the title, like he was on the ladder. One of the Dudleys, who was it?
I think it was
It
Bubba.
wasn't DB, it was Bubba.
Yeah.
Bubba knocked the ladder out of the way, so Jeff was just dangling. And if Jeff had gotten that unstrapped, it would have been good. He's hanging there, and Edge climbed up the other ladder and literally from the top thing speared him off the top of the ladder onto the ground.
Oh shit,
dude. Amazing. And like back then it was like that was the 90s, what 2000?
I think that's 2000.
2000, exactly. Yeah,
dude.
2000,
Oh my. And like again, that was a moment I didn't watch live, but I go back and I watch it and like I was so involved with Edge and the Hardys in the 2000s when I was watching that when you go back and you hear about it, you watch it, you're like, holy shit, like this is where it started.
yeah.
That's what makes the storylines. When these guys are fucking wrestling in the 2000s, and then in 2008, you've got a feud between Matt Hardy and Edge.
Yeah.
Over a real life relationship.
That one was
That
crazy.
one
That might have been one of the craziest feuds.
So, Matt Hardy, who's Jeff Hardy's brother, who was like not as good of a wrestler.
I don't think he wasn't as big as Jeff, because Jeff was the bigger risk taker.
Jeff was just a out there guy. Jeff was like the Joker. People loved him because he was this weird personality.
He'd
He
be
was
like
a
the guy
high
jumping
flyer.
off of shit and
Yep.
all that.
Where Matt was just old school, kind of like
Yeah.
beat you down. Like his moves were very stationary in the ring. Matt was literally dating this girl, Lita. They were dating. Matt got hurt, right?
Yeah, Matt got hurt.
Yes.
Matt got hurt, did something major. So when they used to wrestle back in the day, and even now a little bit, when you travel, the WWE doesn't fly you everywhere. You like travel in a group in like a car or a rent-a-car or whatever with your squad. Like
Yeah.
you would get a group of people, and every city you had to go to, you'd carpool. So you're driving day 1, I'm driving day 2, and you would travel together, and that was your group. So when Matt got hurt, Edge and Lita started driving together and traveling together. And they were originally just really good friends, and then, I mean, every fucking story that's, we were just really good friends in the beginning, what happens? You fuck. And they literally started in real life, like, doing it, and Matt found out, so then they created a storyline about it, and then they fired him, right?
I think they released him because he made something. He's like, Adam, you asshole.
Yeah. So he literally called out like the situation at hand. I think am I wrong saying they feuded a little bit and then they let him go, or did they let him go and they brought him back?
I'm pretty sure he came back from injury.
Yeah.
He did some shit. Like, I think he made like a couple blogs. Or something. That was back when there was no Twitter.
Yes.
He did something like that, and they were like, oh, nope, they fucking fired him. And then he comes back, and the first thing he does when he comes back is like storm the ring, and they literally start brawling. Like, you can see they're both pissed.
I think it was, a year or two later?
Yeah, it was something like that, where he was actually pissed.
Yeah.
And they literally had to like drag everyone in, and then he was calling Edge by his real name. His name is Adam Copeland. He's like, Adam, you son of a bitch. Like,
So
That's when you know it's fucking real.
Yeah.
exactly. So some of those storylines, when they kind of peek into it, and you're like, oh shit, all right, here we go. No, but dude, that great moment.
And then my last one it's more recent, but I really enjoy this one. One of my all-time favorite wrestlers the past couple of years is Kofi Kingston.
I was literally just
Kofi Mania. I was obsessed that whole year.
yeah, I know you
Kofi,
were.
you know,
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So respectively so, I do think how do I say this? WWE is old school. Guess that. We'll say it like that,
Yeah.
right? Which is like not... I'm not saying you need to be completely PC in this world, because I don't like that. I don't like when you're PC to the exact dot, but there is a difference when you're not giving certain people attention, and it's because of the color of their skin, which... say it if you want or not, it might be happening in WWE.
They haven't known to do it in the
Kofi
past.
Kingston, The Rock was Samoan though, right?
He was half black, half Samoan.
So half black, half Samoan. So they gave him his shine. So a lot of people will say and make that argument. They're like, well, The Rock, like one of the greatest of all time. But they still, they didn't push him the way, certain people would have. I mean, he was huge in the 90s, but like, again, he could have had more title runs and whatever. After that, who? Booker T didn't have as good of a WWE.
Booker T won the World Heavyweight title, but that was it, when he was King Booker.
But you know what I'm saying? And then he maybe had, U.S. titles, international titles, intercontinental titles?
The thing about Booker T was, I think WrestleMania, the one that you said you went to, or 07 with Triple H.
Yes.
He wrestled Triple H. It was... They made it.
That was... No,
that was 03 when he wrestled Triple H.
Yeah, because the WrestleMania I was at
that one was such garbage. I hated
Randy,
that.
Randy, John, and Triple H, I think, right? Or was it Randy...
No, it was the one where it was Mania Booker T against Triple H.
No, but I'm saying the one I was at, I think was Randy, John, and Triple H
or was
for the
that
title.
Or was that Randy? Or was it John, Shawn, and Triple H when Triple H or when
Shawn?
No,
because it was Shawn, Rick.
Okay, yeah.
Shawn, Rick, Big Show.
Yeah.
Floyd. But I'm just looking up
Sierra.
because it was Edge Taker.
Yeah. It was Edge Taker.
I think the one you were talking about was when when it was the height of Evolution. Remember, Triple H was clean shaven, had his he was wearing the fucking disgusting purple trunks.
And then WWE was like making Triple H say like kind of these slight.
Oh yeah, they did.
Like,
yeah,
not slave, but you can tell racist things.
Yeah, what he was like, people like you can't be champion, like something like that.
And then like, somehow they let Triple H win it after all that.
It was such a garbage finish too. I hate that match.
It was a garbage finish, but So WWE has
John Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton, Undertaker, Edge, Floyd, Floyd, Big Show, and then it was CM Punk won the ladder match.
Okay.
And then the Ric Flair Shawn match.
Okay.
And then they kind of did R-Truth kind of dirty a couple years ago with little Jimmy making him go like a crazy black man.
Oh god.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you don't remember that. I wasn't even into WWE.
I wasn't watching.
I was slowly fading out, but I remember the storylines.
They had him as they had an imaginary friend.
Oh my
lord. What was his?
Lil Jimmy.
Lil Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
So basically, back to the story though. Kofi Kingston was a phenomenal wrestler, high flyer, really was getting a lot of traction, and they would only put the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title and the tag team titles on him. Those were they're the mid-card titles.
Yeah.
They're still great titles. I still like a lot of them, but they were just like, this is your title and that's that, and, you're beat. But you're the worst.
Terrible cameraman
God,
too.
Luke, you're the worst, man. You can't get anything right. No, but so it just was unfortunate because for so long they were like, all right, well, Kofi's going to win it, and then give it to Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Oh, Kofi's going to win it, give it back to John.
Or The Miz.
Kofi's going to win it, give it to The Miz. And they would just give it to these guys, and it's like, not to denounce the character of a lot of these other wrestlers, they're good wrestlers, but when you have John Cena won it for the 15th time, you're like, oh, that's crazy, You could just give it to anybody else. You could give it to anybody else. Like, R-Truth could have come out there and won. I would have been like, let's get it.
Yeah, right.
But, so that's what's unfortunate with it, was sometimes, the politicking and the, I think now they're very smart with it because the Hurt Business is one of the best factions in the WWE.
And they're pushing Keith Lee, too.
Yep. The Hurt Business is doing really good. Big E has the Intercontinental title. So they're really smart with it now, but it just is unfortunate to watch that certain times where, this is happening and you're like, dude, come on, man. Just let these guys wrestle. Whoever the best wrestler is, let him win the title. Give your brand notoriety. When Kofi won, dude, Twitter was wild.
It was.
There were people that don't watch wrestling, and they're like, holy shit, man, Kofi Kingston won. And then that trickles into the different demographics, and it plays to everybody, and then, boom, people are interested in your brand, and then they watch your product. So easy.
And speaking of the brands, they should definitely give Pat McAfee another shot. Love that man.
I thought they did.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck is that point of your story, then?
He
got fired on Christmas.
Yes, that's what he said on this podcast. He got fired on Christmas Day.
How would you not think that's a work?
100% work.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah, Adam's like, dude, he got fired Christmas Day.
He's gonna come back to beat Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny.
He's probably gonna feud with what's his name again? What the hell is the main guy in NXT?
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. They had a great match. I love that match.
Adam Cole just turned on
his own team.
What's his name?
Not Fish.
Something O'Reilly.
Wasn't the guy named Fish?
I have no idea.
Fish.
I don't fucking watch
His name is
NXT,
Fish
dude.
and Turtle and Kangaroo. That's the group.
His last name was
Adam
Fish.
Cole's group.
His last name was Fish. That's all I remember.
Yeah, sure.
Finn
Yeah,
Balor?
sure, Adam. Yeah,
Fish
yeah,
Balor?
yeah.
I know
Oh,
Finn
Fish Balor. More like Turtle Balor.
All right, Dan, go. I'm done.
All right. I got the Austin 316 promo as one of mine.
The best.
So you never see that with the Austin 316?
Stone Cold.
You ever hear about Stone Cold?
You know, John 316.
So the John 316 verse when they were doing the King of the Ring for 1996 King of the Ring,
Yeah.
where basically it's just a tournament where it's literally all one pay-per-view. You have to have like, in order to win it, you have to wrestle like 6 times in order to do
Yeah.
it. So Stone Cold wrestled 6 times, and he was supposed to fight Jake the Snake Roberts in the final match in order to win it. And he, for whatever reason, was just super like religious for whatever reason, and basically
Jake the Snake,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So then Stone Cold beats him, and he gets up, and I think it was Mean Gene.
Yeah, Mean Gene.
Yes.
Yeah, Mean Gene was like, Stone Cold, like, what you guys say? And he goes, well, Jake the Snake, he's talking about John 316. Well, how about this? Austin 316 just whooped your ass and just walks out.
Yep. Just that was how he won it, and then just like that's where Stone Cold 316 took over the world.
Yeah.
Like that man from that promo, and then he became like the badass redneck that will literally. I can't wait for them to do a documentary on.
I can't wait.
Like
I cannot
Stone
wait.
Cold Rock
Comes out
would
this
be
summer,
a great.
I think, or next summer.
What?
I think next summer. I read somewhere they're working on the Last Dance documentary, like for Stone Cold.
See, now I'm torn because I really do want just a Stone Cold one, but it almost probably makes as much sense to do a Stone Cold Rock one.
Yeah.
Like, that rivalry is probably the best of all time in wrestling, right? I mean...
It's literally the 2 biggest guys of all time.
Yeah, literally, think about it. What rivalry is better?
None.
I mean, like, you could say, like, Randy Triple H or, like, Shawn and Triple H.
Or maybe like Cena Edge if you want to, Cena Orton.
I'd put...
But it doesn't transcend. It does not even come close.
And that's the unfortunate thing that, like, for the past couple years, you don't have these rivalries that are, like, looked on. Like, the last good rivalry, I would probably say, I mean, like, again, I'm not going to discredit certain things. Yeah. I didn't watch at the height of Daniel Bryan, so, like, I can't really say, he didn't have some good ones. But, like, the last one really for me was, like, Undertaker-Shawn was one of the last great rivalries. Like, those two put on a show.
For me, it was like CM Punk, Cena. Like, when Cena was leaving the company.
Yeah, that one's a big one.
But
Much I hate that guy, but...
Cena or Punk?
Both.
Nah, Punk.
Yeah, I know.
See, I love CM Punk because, like, that was my guy back when it was this fire, not, like, Cult of Personality. Like, I was done by that point. So I really just, like, look at CM Punk for that. Like, he didn't get to the pipe bomb shit yet. So, like, that's why I love him. Like, where is he? Is he on the front?
I love that. I love the Doctor of Thugonomics Cena.
Okay. Is he in the back, Dan? CM Punk?
He's on the...
Nah.
Dude, he's on this shirt.
Yeah, we got half a crime time.
Dude, he's right here.
Oh, shit.
Adam, you suck.
He's right here.
You saying
So that's literally Frank. So ready? We'll do it right now. Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
CM Punk. R-Truth. Who'd I met? John Cena. Who's Randy Hornswoggle.
That's so funny that Hornswoggle's
MVP,
on the fucking front
Taker,
of that shirt.
Triple H. Jericho. Am I missing anybody?
Mysterio.
Yeah. And then we'll go to the back.
Then you got
Shawn. Big Show. Who the fuck is that top left?
That's Santino.
That's Santino?
It is Santino.
Yeah, that's Santino. Then we got Shad, rest in peace.
Yeah, JTG.
Then we got JT, rest in... Or he's still alive,
He's
actually.
still alive.
JTG. Kane, Batista, Edge.
Rest in peace. He's not dead, but like...
Dude, I mean...
You should have Dan on the Cancel Culture podcast then. Supposed to get canceled for going...
My fault, dude. Shad died. I'm still emotional over it.
I mean, that was... Dude, tragic. So
found the river, right? Wasn't he?
No, he was swimming with his son.
He saved his son. His son got sucked in Riptide, and he
Yes.
dove in, brought his kid up into the boat, and then he got sucked under.
Yep, super sad. So it's kind of similar to the story from the girl from Glee.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's super sad, and the wrestling. He was another. I don't want to call him a jobber, but you could probably call him a mid-carder. So
they were like top tier in the tag team division.
Yeah,
but like the tag team is usually like if you're in the tag team division, you're not there yet to make it singles.
They never won a title though. They never won a tag championship.
Really?
Well, that's actually one of my favorite entrances. It's Crime Time.
Great, Crime Time was
I
literally
love
the
that.
best. They were another one that was a little bit
racial.
I feel bad for them because they weren't the ones, but they were very much like, Shawn and Triple H would pull up and be like, "What's up, brother?" And you're like, "Okay, like, oh well."
Wait. Shane, did you
No,
remember,
you know what
remember when Vince said the N-word on
Yeah.
national
Yeah.
television?
How about when Booker said it?
Oh my God,
dude.
Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you.
Yeah, and beep, like literally said it on a promo. And he's like,
He's like,
he said it. And he went. Turned around because he said it on live. He's like, "We're coming for you!" And he's like,
it wasn't a beep though. He just said, he's like, "Oh fuck."
"Yeah, well, no, like they kind of caught it, but
He like cut himself off. It was so funny, dude.
But
Oh my
it was
God.
sad about
Vincent,
them
that
because
was wild.
they were similar to a Brody Lee, where they were loved by the company. They were loved by all the wrestlers. They were a great personality, great dude, and they fought everybody, and they had an impact. And they didn't get their time to shine. But he had such an amazing story, and what he did for his son. I mean, you know, it's amazing. And a lot of wrestlers came out afterwards. I think Shelton Benjamin came out and like was with his son the next day because they were like, you know, best friends. And during the funeral, it was I have to look back, but they have a really good photo. I think everybody met up after his passing, and it's a whole bunch of just really good dude wrestlers that just met up and all came together to like show his family love for a guy that was just so well respected in the industry. So super sad when shit like that happens. Like it's not, you know, I'm not denouncing and not playing to the heart attacks and the suicides and the killings and whatever. But when that shit happens, man, you're just heartbroken by losing people like that, you know. What else you got? You got any other good ones?
Oh yeah, the doctor's office with
there we go.
fucking
So happy someone brought it up.
Vince was in a cast with his like ankle or whatever, and they were in it. Didn't like Undertaker come in too?
No, Mick
I know
Foley.
Mick Foley did.
Was-
So Mick Foley comes in as Mankind, and he's like, "It's Mr." He brought in Mr. Socko for the first
Socko,
time.
yep.
We know how he puts the sock on his hand and he gives him the man.
Literally, it was a white sock with a little design on the front. And he's like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Socko," and just with like his move was just this, and he just in your mouth and just.
But he was with Vince, and he's like, "It's Mr. Socko." And he's like going up to his face, like making.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, Mr. Socko wants to give you a kiss," and he's kissing him on the ankle, and Vince is like,
Yeah, he brings in like a clown, like this woman clown.
Doink the clown.
Yeah,
it was the girl. It was the girl.
And then he's like, "Get the hell away from me! Get the shit out of here! Get out!" He's like throwing the balloons, and then he's like, "Where's the doctor at?" And he goes, "Oh, we'll be with you in a minute." And it's Stone Cold, and he
In
just
the
like
background.
and as dressed up as the doctor.
And he goes literally like this, and he's like, "Boom."
Yeah, and he's like, just panning over.
And he just hits him, and
Hits him with the frying
you have
pan,
to
or
you
the
have to
bedpan.
look. It's the bedpan. It's like it's probably one of the most iconic sounds in WWE to this day because he hit him in the head with a bedpan, and the bang from the
doink.
bedpan was like doing and like made the sound, and people to this day he hit him and like he didn't like pull up, he fucking
he just hit him in
swatted
the
him
head.
right in the head, and it just is so funny because he does that and then he starts hitting him in the leg and he starts hitting his calf.
And he's screaming, dude. He's like shrieking.
Vince is doing so good. Vince is like, just, dude, so good, man. Oh, reckless. WWE.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then well, my final moment would be when Eddie won the belt against Brock Lesnar.
That's iconic, right
Dude,
there.
fucking Brock kept calling him a drug addict and shit. And
Didn't Benoit win that night too? Not to bring that up, but I think didn't Benoit win?
No, Benoit won.
Did he win heavyweight?
Benoit won a meeting.
I
That
thought
was
they
on
both.
Armageddon.
No, but I thought they both won. And I thought they hugged.
That would have been in 2004.
Right.
It would have been in 2004.
Because,
I think Benoit won the heavyweight title in 04.
Yeah, and since Michael and Triple H. So yeah, that was when Michael and Triple H were feuding, and somehow he got away to the match. Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm pretty sure, Dan, you're right.
Yeah, but basically the whole build up to that was like just a promo.
No,
between
yeah, because
Eddie
look,
and...
remember it was Benoit won the world, and Eddie won the
Undisputed.
old Undisputed.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, those titles were so. Really quickly too,
that big gold belt is.
the heavyweight is the best belt ever. The heavyweight title was brought over from WCW.
Yeah, it was the WCW World title.
It was the WCW World title when WWE bought them. They brought the belt over. It's still considered probably the best design. Besides the Winged Eagle. Winged Eagle
Winged
is
Eagle's
the
fire.
great. But the belts now kind of suck. They're just like the same generic.
I hate the Universal one, dude.
Well, the United States one looks good though. I like it.
Yeah.
US one looks good. Intercontinental, I hate. Is that like stupid, like whatever. The tag titles are Aren't the tags the same as the...
I don't know what they look like anymore.
I haven't seen tag titles in a minute, to be honest.
I swear to God, I think they're the same as the...
yeah, they're
the same as the United... The inner... no, the...
It's the
main
circle.
titles.
It's the circle.
No,
The perfect circle or whatever.
Oh, God, yeah, with the 2 Trojan helmets.
Yes. And then the SmackDown's blue and the Raw's red.
Oh, God.
Disgusting. I hate how they did that, where they
Bad
changed the
titles.
color straps of the belt.
I was originally really mad at the U.S. title when it got switched because I really thought that was one of the best title.
Which one? Like
looking.
the Pentagon
Like,
looking
just the
one
Pentagon,
where it
yep.
was all up.
I thought that was good. It was
Yeah, I
solid.
like
It was
that one.
good. It was old school, and I think that's what was like cool about it. I think they did a very good job switching it up.
Yeah, they did.
Where like Intercontinental, that it almost seems like with the Intercontinental they're like ready to get rid of it, and
Yeah.
like that's what's unfortunate because you need those titles to keep these storylines alive. Like Intercontinental's a great title to have for like a guy like a Big E.
That's why Miz snapped that one time
Yep.
because he was sick and tired of the Intercontinental never getting
Understandably
respected.
So exactly, like I mean, he was getting I'll take one.
I'll take one.
I'll take one.
Dan, I'll get you another.
Well, we're almost.
You want some of this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, screw me, right?
Yeah, screw you.
No, but WWE's in a very interesting state right now. So that's all.
I feel like it's in like a kind of like a limbo.
It's in limbo, yeah.
Because for the first time with like AEW, for the first time in 20 fucking years, they've actually had real competition. Even though I know it's not actually there yet.
But it's on the rise.
I would say it's there. I would say it's there.
Yeah,
I
but it's
mean,
not like WWE level. It's
look at what
definitely
they're doing with like a guy like Hangman Page.
Yeah.
He's not getting the time of day, but you know for a fact he's going to beat Kenny Omega.
Oh, yeah.
You know for a fact that's who's beating Kenny.
Oh,
You know
100%,
that.
yeah.
Like who else would really do it?
Sammy.
No.
Orange Cassidy.
Shut up, Adam. God damn it. We were doing so fine.
I love Sammy Guevara.
If you're telling me they're going to take the title from...
They're pushing
They
Sammy
would
hard.
not take the title from Kenny Omega, who's probably considered the greatest wrestler right now.
greatest
right?
technical wrestler I say right now in
Right
the
now?
world. Yeah.
They wouldn't take it from him and
Probably.
give it to Kenny Omega. They would
probably
literally
would.
give it to Orange Cassidy before they'd give it to Kenny.
I mean, I wouldn't hate
or
that either.
before
That would
before
be
Sammy.
sick if they gave it to Orange
That'd be
Cassidy
sick.
just for like a day, like how Kane won it off of Austin for a day
Oh
and
my
he loses
God.
it. That would be sick,
Well, I think
The best title wins are
right?
I think my favorite wrestler who can push anyone or like make them look super legit is definitely AJ Styles. AJ Styles can make anyone look phenomenal.
You know
Pun
who
intended?
who also does that? Good for you. John Morrison.
Oh, that's true. I
Like
like
John Morrison was one of the best brought back wrestlers. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they did a really good job. I don't love that like the whole Miz thing. I almost would love like if they were planning on keeping it on Miz, which they're absolutely not because he's losing to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. It's a lock because Drew won it with no fans. Drew is now going to win it with fans. Like that man deserves it. Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre deserves,
I love Drew McIntyre.
I love him. Awesome dude. Awesome story.
Especially just comparing what he used to be, his old character, to what he is now.
mean,
it's just night and day. He's just
if
such
you-
a better
He's totally
character.
different.
Literally,
future.
Frank, I like look up the guy Drew McIntyre later and like look at his old picture compared to now. A yoked Scottish dude compared to then, which he was just like a big body Scottish dude. Like he's a big dude. Now he's like cut.
reinvented
Most cut
himself.
wrestler
Oh,
besides
yeah.
what Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Which, like,
ridiculous.
I'm not going to lie to you, Bobby, so the only reason The Miz won last night was because Bobby Lashley. So after the match, Drew McIntyre won, Bobby Lashley came out and beat the absolute
Wait,
shit.
Bobby won?
No.
I thought Matt Riddle won.
No, he did, but Bobby was mad, came out after the match.
Oh, okay.
Earlier in the night, you saw The Miz talking to MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled a Mark Henry.
So he was getting the Hurt Business to get involved.
Okay.
I almost would love if Bobby is also involved now and is like, yo, I did you a favor, but guess what? I'm taking that title from you.
Yeah.
Make it a 3-way at WrestleMania. Bobby, Drew, The Miz. I would almost like that. It sucks for Bobby because I think he pissed me off so much when he was doing the Lana story.
Oh.
That was
So much.
stupid.
Yeah,
Because
that shit was cringe.
dude, Bobby was the guy back in the day.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he could have been the guy again, and they just kind of put him in that limbo state where now I almost don't think you can give him the title over Drew.
Yeah.
Like, it would have, in my opinion, been better if he had won it over The Miz, and then you could do that storyline. Because now you could have him have the title for 2 months, and Drew beats him at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Has he
Where
ever won the title?
Bobby, yeah. Bobby had it in...
He never had the WWE title, though,
Oh
did he?
my God!
No, I don't think he did. I think he had the World Heavyweight title. He never had the WWE
He's
title.
ECW champion.
He was ECW champ.
Undertaker, Cena,
Yeah,
and
that
him
whole...
were on that cover of that Wrestling Magazine, by the way, used to be the best. Oh, one of the best magazines ever, dude. The covers were always lit.
They're always
I loved
legit.
shopping through them. Amazing thing.
I saw one of fucking Kofi Kingston on the cover.
Yeah. I wish they still made magazines like that to a certain degree. Like,
I'm sure they still do. It's
no,
just
but
not
they
as
they
seen.
don't though. But like,
Nah,
that's,
they
like,
don't.
Like, dude, I fun fact, I bought a GQ membership
Whore.
for the GQ magazine, and like I like don't get magazines like that anymore. But I got a GQ one because Kanye was on the cover, and it was one of the sickest covers ever. And I'm a Kanye prophet. I love that man.
You're a dick rider?
Am I a messiah? Literally, whatever he does, I'm like, well, you're taking it out of context. And he's like, he just killed a guy. It's like, well, did he really kill him? He's like, yes, he murdered him. Well, it wasn't really murder. Like,
Just like OJ, he didn't do it.
I mean, literally, listen. If
Adam's a Kim K dick rider. That's why he's saying
Whoa,
that.
first of all, relax.
Listen, I will put it into the world that I hope both of them find peace with whatever decision's been made. I hope they're both good. I respect and love Kanye because I think he's one of the greatest artists of our time. He's one of the best producers of our time. And why I love him is because he's helped me through a lot in my life, his music. 808s and Heartbreaks, literally, I listen to those songs on the bus going to Barcelo every fucking day on my old iPod that you used to download the music on YouTube and have the music video. I had no music on my phone that didn't have a music video to it. I swear to God. I had my Razor in my pocket or my NV3, right? What's the NV? Was it the NV? The NV1 was the one that had the flip up, and the people used to switch the rubbers out, and it would be like you could do it with different colors.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah.
The NV was the NV2 was the one that went up.
Just went.
That was like this way, remember? And it went up, or was that the NV3? It was literally this way. It had a circle. You would push it up.
I'm not sure.
Regardless, I had that here. I'd play games on it, and I would literally just listen to like every 808s and Heartbreak song with the music video, and I would just listen to it. It was either that or Marilyn Manson, and people were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't know." So, but yeah, I listen. I like you said, I do think wrestling's in a weird spot right now. I think they're doing a lot of smart things, like the Bad Bunny thing. People might not like it, but like. It's smart, you're.
They've always brought in
Bad Bunny,
celebrities.
dude. Bad Bunny's the highest rated artist right now.
I mean, I don't even know who Bad Bunny
that's
is.
the thing.
I just
A lot of people don't know him, but he's marketing to a Spanish audience and a Latin audience, which is genius for them.
Wrestling is huge in the.
But that's the thing. Like, look at what they did. Look at what they did with Jinder Mahal. Like, they put the title on him when they were doing everything in India.
Yeah.
Like they're. I don't want to say they're capitalizing because then it makes them sound like they're bad. But like they're capitalizing, they're capitalizing on opportunity.
Is it as bad as is it really that bad? No, I mean
No.
I mean probably every fucking kid in India was like, oh my god, Jinder Mahal has the title. Like, oh my god, he's representing India. Like,
look at what Mustafa Ali did.
Yeah,
when Mustafa Ali, when he won the
did he win the United States?
No, he won the Royal Rumble match in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia when they had that match. He like won it and he gave a speech afterwards, and that's like it's genius for them. That's like the richest place in the world. You just had a guy from that region win, and then give a speech about how like anyone can do it. Every kid is now not going to go and say I want a soccer ball this year. They're going to be like, oh, I'm just going to wrestle. I'm just going to like fight with my buddies in my backyard. I'm going to be a wrestler. It's genius. This is the best marketing move ever.
Yeah, but fuck Saudi.
Literally every Saudi show has probably been bad though, so I can't really.
Don't even let the women wrestle. Unbelievable.
That's screwed. So in Saudi Arabia, women can't wear revealing clothes. So they literally, if the women wrestle in those matches, which they still respect, like the women, they love being able to. They have to wear like big bulky T-shirts and like full on pants. Like can't reveal anything, like hair up, everything. So that's crazy, but. Let's get into our top fives, because Frank is like, shit, man, what is going on? Frank's head, I can only imagine right now, trying to retain everything that we're talking to him about.
Definitely an overload of information.
We're like, oh, Frank, remember the time that this guy got beat up in a market? Like a local meat market? Frank's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
I'll catch some names that you guys are saying, but...
Like, you guys ever watch Peanuts?
Yeah.
Remember
No.
do you, okay.
Nah.
Frank, fuck. Did I just age myself out of this conversation?
You might have.
So Peanuts, when Charlie Brown, you ever watch the Charlie Brown specials or anything?
Yeah.
When they would go talk to the adults. Wah, 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 wah. You never understood the adults?
Yeah.
That's Frank right now. It's like, wah, 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 Stone Cold. Wah, 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 The Rock. We're like, wah, 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 wah.
John Cena.
John Cena! Like, exactly. All right, so usually what I do is we'll just go like around in the circle for our top 5. We'll just kind of speed round it up. I'll start off with my number 5. My number 5 is Jeff Hardy. I had a trampoline in my backyard when I was watching wrestling and like the height of it. And the worst decision my father could have ever made was putting a scaffolding on the side of our outside garage.
Oh yeah, hopping on that shit.
We would do it, and it was looking back, I'm like, holy shit, what was wrong with you? Because it was an older trampoline, so like it wasn't fresh and new. That thing could have broke any moment, and I was trying to do swanton bombs off the second fucking thing. Like you can ask Nick. Nick would literally he'd come to our house and we would just wrestle in the backyard. We had the fake titles, everything, and like Jeff Hardy was like my guy because he was just so out there, and I was like. I wasn't the coolest kid back in the day, so like I loved Jeff Hardy because he was that guy. Like he wasn't John Cena, he wasn't the typical jock big body, but he was going and beating. Who did he beat? It was Armageddon, right? In 08, was it Randy
No, he beat Triple H and Edge. It was Triple H, Edge. Yes, Jeff Hardy. Yeah.
And remember he eliminated Edge at Elimination Chamber.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Was that him when he beat him? Remember Edge lost. Remember, Edge went into Elimination Chamber with the title and got pinned in the first one, and everyone was laughing at him on the way out. But yeah, my number 5 is Jeff. That's my boy. So Adam will go on you.
My number 5 is Dave Bautista. I always loved Batista growing up.
I would have been Chorman's number 1. I guarantee it. That was his fucking dude.
That was my
dude.
boy.
You know,
you got it.
I don't know. I'll say it offline. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to put anyone on blast right now.
Any Ruthless Aggression, he was my favorite wrestler, definitely in the Ruthless Aggression era.
He just was a copy of Batista Goldberg. Like he was the black-haired Goldberg. Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong.
But he could actually talk.
Yes,
like he wasn't a fucking dunce like Goldberg. Stupid fucking goatee.
Oh, smash!
Yeah, right.
The entrance music was fire. I love his
entrance. Was sick.
His entrance with fireworks. I loved it.
Fucking the machine guns and shit, dude. That was sick.
He was just awesome. Like I don't know how to describe it. He was one of my all-time favorites.
I always loved Batista, but like he just wasn't like my guy. I completely forgot. I had like a bunch of honorable mentions. I'll really quickly go down it. Hogan for the Hogan.
Fuck Hogan.
No. Like I only give it to Hogan because he
because of who he is. Yeah,
he like started the cult for who he is as a person. Terrible dude.
Yeah, you go fuck
for
yourself.
like who he did for wrestling. It's like he's like innovative like that. Ric Flair. Literally one of the best. Triple H was not my guy. I also had Batista. Mm-hmm. Batista wasn't my guy either, but like I messed with him. Back in the day, would have been Rey Mysterio. He would have been on my list.
Same,
dude, I swear to God, I did a count on, like, I still have my bucket of wrestlers in my basement. I had like 26 Rey Mysterios, like different Rey Mysterios. Every Rey Mysterio that came out, I would literally, I'd go to KB Toys right up in the corner of the mall. Do you remember KB Toys?
I remember KB Toys, yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, KB Toys was where the old Foot Locker was in that little corner. Was always bright in there. No? Mm-mm. Oh, breaking my heart. Regardless, I'd always go in there and get it. They had a KB Toys at the Jackson outlet, too, for the longest time.
In the mall, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Dude.
The only old store I remember in the mall is fucking Zap Comics. Or no, that arcade.
Rest in pieces.
Yeah,
Zap Comics was the
goat.
Do you remember Friendlies in the bottom? Do you remember when Friendlies was in the bottom left?
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, the best. And then Mick Foley's on my list, too, because I actually loved the Mick Foley documentaries. I thought he was fascinating that man took the bumps that he did, and he's like, oh, I'm good now. And I'm like,
okay.
This guy's indestructible.
Yeah,
this guy's Thanos, for all I know. But yeah, those are my kick honorable mentions. We'll kick over to you for 5.
Number 5 is Randy Orton.
Hey,
what was he? Right? What was he? Isn't he the third generation superstar?
Third generation.
He's the second.
Bob? I know Bob.
It was Bob and then Bob Senior.
Yes. Okay. So
it was Bob Senior, then Cowboy Bob Orton, and then Randy. But wasn't he the second? Obviously, The Rock was number 1. I think he was the first one. Number 1, third generation.
He might be.
I wouldn't doubt it. Probably.
The Rock would be.
Well, because is Roman now third or no? Is Roman only second? Because I don't think was Roman's Who were Roman's parents? Did they wrestle or no?
I don't think
his
so.
Uncle?
His uncle isn't his uncle Rikishi?
That's what they
yep,
say,
and then
but I'm
his-
not sure that is.
But they're probably like second, third cousins, like some shit
I mean,
like that.
regardless,
but
it's
still,
still
he
from
probably calls
that
him
family.
Yeah,
like that
so-
family is, and it's also a little bit different. I will give them more credit because I feel like Samoans are more of like, even if you're cousins, you're blood, like
Yeah.
your family. Like, and I give them a lot of respect for that. Like, it doesn't matter if you're cousins twice removed. Like, your blood, like you're like that's
family,
the
always family.
again, and that's why like I said, the whole tribal chief thing is working so well because
Yeah.
he like runs the table now, and it's amazing, dude. Randy.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I hate him as a kid because he was just such a good heel.
I hate
Same
it.
here.
Such
And that's
a good
how
heel.
and that's how you know when you're a good heel is when all the kids fucking hate you, but all
Yeah.
the adults love you.
Yep.
Dude, I remember it's just so weird seeing Randy now because he's what, 42?
At
He's
least.
been with the company his entire career. Such a company guy.
He was what, 20?
He was 20, I think, when he came in. He won the title at 22,
Yeah,
something like that. But
yeah.
I remember he was doing something with,
That old
WWE.
haircut.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
The buzz cut.
I remember it was like, what was it? He was doing something with WWE, and he was like, yeah, these guys are coming up to me like, oh, we used to watch you when we were kids, and he's like, damn, you old as hell. I must be old as shit. He's like, what?
Remember when
like 30-year-olds are like, yo,
they're-
I love you.
Yeah,
as a
they're
kid.
like
He's
26,
fuck.
27. Like, he was
Yeah.
watching when we were kids, and he's like, fuck, dude, I've been here for a long time.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. Yeah.
Yo, remember when they did when Triple H broke in Reigns' house for WrestleMania 25
Yes.
match?
Oh, my God.
I was bogging. I was like, "Is this fucking real?" I couldn't
Dude,
fucking
Randy's also
tell.
the biggest troll I think I've ever
Oh,
seen.
yeah.
Like, all the times he was, like, hinting that he was going to go to AEW when
Yo,
that was
dude,
coming.
so-
Oh, my, it's so
good.
funny.
Randy Orton's considered one of the best ever, but when it comes to wrestling, he's not one of the best ever. He's not that good of a if Randy Orton by any chance is watching this, like, please don't come RKO me in my sleep.
Yeah, I think he had the cleanest power slam, though.
Yes,
Easily.
and the RKO is probably known as the most widely.
I'd say it's the most popular
Would you say
finisher.
it's more?
Recognizable
Would you say it's
move.
more recognizable than the stun? I think so
Yes.
because I
Yes.
don't think
Yeah,
people know
100%.
Stone Cold
Yeah.
for a Stone Cold stunner.
No,
More
they don't-
people know an RKO.
Yeah.
Like RKO out of nowhere. Everyone was doing it into fucking pools. Like I
Yeah.
think I probably RKO'd Frank into his own pool.
Yeah, probably.
At least twice. But Randy's not considered one of the best wrestlers because he's just not as technically savvy, would you say,
Yeah.
right? He's just a little bit more stiff. But he gets it done because when it comes to his finisher, he, like, delivers it. He literally,
He's
like,
insane
when
how
he...
he
Yeah,
goes.
and he also has a really good storyline with his kick when he does the punt.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Vince, yeah. And
well,
Stephanie.
no, he did the punts where he was he's basically called the Legend Killer. That's like his nickname, and he was killing off legends back in the day. And he did it again now, where like he did it to Shawn, did it to Rick, he did it to Christian again when they all came out, and they were last year when they were feuding with Edge. So, I mean, dude, he's one of the best.
Yeah, he was also a weird one with his promos because he was never the one that was like eccentric, like overly out there. He was always calm. He was slower,
Like
but it was
maniacal.
always yes. But you
Is
can
that-
tell
is
it's
that-
like yo, like that's like something wrong with this guy. Like
Yeah.
always something like that.
Like he's I want to say nope, I'm not even going to try to say the
Nope,
word. It's
word.
gonna sound like an absolute deviant. Is that
Deviant.
no? Is that
diabolical.
diabolical is probably
maybe
better.
that's
Yes,
a good one.
Yes, he literally was like always scheming and being diabolical. Dude, so good. And now I'm happy that you brought him up as your number 5 because my number 4 is on the same page. Edge, dude, that man, and he was the opposite of Randy. He was evil, like.
Yeah, out there, yeah.
Throwing his hair
love
back.
that shit,
He
yeah.
was like throwing his hair back, and he was like kind of like this, and being all like, whatever.
I mean, when your nickname's the ultimate opportunist,
Yep.
and you're just fucking cashing in Money in the Banks after Money in the Bank on fucking.
Yep.
like,
Money in the Bank.
You,
on
you
Money in the
gotta
Bank.
be. You
Yep.
just look just sleazy. You're like,
Yep.
oh, you're gonna kick a guy while he's down, but I mean,
He was just so good at being bad back in the day, and I despised the shit out of him. I literally hated him so much. And then when he came back at the Rumble, he solidified my top 5 because, like I showed you in that video, that showed to me that it's a job for him, but it's a love.
Yeah.
It's a passion. Like, he wanted to be there more than he wanted the paycheck. He could have probably been paid nothing, and he probably would have still done it, and to the degree that he did it at. So, I mean, like, I don't even want to get into, like, everything about him. I hated him back in the day, and I love him now, and I think that's, like, one of the coolest things as, like, kids when we can be like that, like Randy the same way. I hated Randy back in the day, and like Randy's such a bad guy now, but I'm like, dude, this guy's so good. He cuts promos so well. He knows what he's doing, and he's such a good wrestler.
And Rated RKO was such a good
such a good tag team.
Such a good tag team.
It was so good though.
We thought
Especially
it was coming
feud with DX. It was just like at the Rumble.
We thought it was coming back at the Rumble, and then it started the feud, man. It was so good. We got so ready. We're like, holy shit, they're back, and then boom, started a feud. We're like, okay, this is even better.
My number 4 is Y2J, Chris Jericho.
Hell yeah.
He was like from New Japan, from when he first started in WWE to what he's doing in AEW. It's like I always liked him, but like, I hated it at the same time. But like, because
you just made the list.
You stupid idiot, Adam.
Yeah, the scarf was legendary.
What the fuck did they were in the match, and then this guy said, "Go back to Toronto." He's like, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot."
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I wasn't the biggest Jericho guy back in the day, and I wasn't around in the 2000s. I think I've gotten a lot more of respect for him now with what he's done for AEW, and then also how good he was in those 2000 eras, and then also with the Dark Side of the Ring. Like, what he's done in all those facets.
He's just an all-around wrestling guy.
Just a great wrestler.
Just a wrestling guy.
He's the son of one of the best Rangers of all time. I mean, like, top 100.
Ted Irving.
Yeah, like, his dad is an amazing athlete. Amazing athlete.
Yeah.
From the 70s or whatever it was, but maybe earlier. But still, like, he comes from an athletic family. So that's always... And he always played to that, too. He's like, oh, my dad was one of the best Rangers of all time. Like, made the top 100, like, whatever it was. Like, top 100 Rangers of all time.
I mean, when Jericho, like, first came back from his hiatus from WWE... For a month straight, he would just come out and just hype the crowd up, not say a word, and leave. Hype the crowd up and say a word and leave.
Dude, and the break the walls down like Y2J was so
when they were trying to bring him in for year 2 Y2K, dude, Y2J, that shit was just so good.
That was such a good build-up to a guy, and everyone was like, holy shit, when is he coming? And then he came out with this top bun.
The high pony,
long
dude.
hair, high
pony, dude.
With a vest, and was just doing this. And it's so funny, because this doesn't look good, but he's like, ah! And like, we just like
he made it look good.
When you see his silhouette, and then the lights come on, and you see all the fucking rhinestones are sparkling and shit, and he's got that high pony, he looks like a fucking idiot.
Plus, he has his own band, too.
Oh, yeah. He's also lead singer of Fozzy.
Fozzy, baby.
Dude, did you see that when he was on the Jericho cruise where they were doing AEW, they were doing Dynamite on the cruise, and he was coming out to Judas, and the entire like boat was singing it. It stopped, and then they kept singing and finished up the lyrics for a song.
They all still sing it now at AEW shows.
No, but that one was just hilarious when the music stopped and they just finished it off, and he's like.
I think he can sometimes be like a scumbag, but like I get it. Like,
I mean, it's Chris Jericho.
He almost has like a Derek Jeter complex.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he has that complex where he's like, I know I'm the best. Like Jericho he shouldn't be in everybody's discussions for the greatest of all time because of what he's done in WCW, ECW, WWE, and now AEW. Like he's done an amazing job on all the companies, and even he came back to WWE 3 times.
Yeah,
2000s, 2010s, and then...
Yeah, he came in the early 2000s and left. They came back
in the
late 2000s, then came back in like 2011, 2012.
Exactly, yep. But, dude, the bomb.
Yeah. My number 4? Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, there you go.
I had to, dude. I love Eddie so much, and it hurts me. It hurts me in my heart that I was not able to see him actually fucking wrestle, because I go back and watch all of his matches
all the time,
and they're always just like, why the fuck was I not born fucking 6 years earlier?
I feel the same.
It's disgusting.
He's on my list too, so I trust me when I tell you, I feel the exact same way about it. He's one of the weird guys I feel like I have a connection to, even though I didn't ever watch him wrestle. I just think he was. And it's funny because his motto was, I lie, I cheat, I steal. So, he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't a
piece
good
of shit.
dude. He was, like, technically considered, like, a bad dude. But he just felt like an underdog story at all times. He just felt like that guy that you could always get behind, even when he was fighting for custody of a child. But, like, he just was such a good story, and he seemed like such a good dude and so invested in the company and the growth of, and you hear stories of him trying to get these guys better, and I fell in love with him too. Like he just, you said it all. I can't even, like I said, he's on my list higher, and it's like I feel the same way. Like I wish I could have like been an Eddie Guerrero fan when it happened, but I'm also happy that I wasn't and I didn't have to go on that emotional roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I had watched that, I had to watch Benoit thing, like, a little bit live. If I had to watch the Eddie thing happen, I would have been a mental case.
Yeah.
Literally, I can't, dude, I'm unreal. Frank, you got any yet? you got any favorite wrestlers?
Nah,
Frank, have you not said John Cena yet for top 5?
John!
I think John Cena's overrated.
Whoa!
Which one?
Time out. He is. Let's not
No,
sugarcoat
No.
He's.
I like.
You're saying no. Are you
I
saying
like-
no
I
is a
love
great
John
movie?
Cena.
Stop.
I always
like-
love John
I like-
Cena.
Is he on your list?
No, he's a
I like the Doctor of Thugonomics Cena over any of the other ones. Yes, where he's a
battle
fucking
rapping
rapper.
everyone.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was so good.
Dude, when he's battle rapping people outside PNC Arts, Izod Center in the Meadowlands. Oh my god.
That shit
Oh
was
wait,
so
that was a
funny.
viral video, right?
Yeah, where he literally he
rapping?
rapped
Yeah,
against
I
a
saw
white
that. I
kid,
saw that.
some white kid.
No, that was cool. But I just think he's overrated, and I don't watch
Word life.
it. But like,
This is
Basic
thugonomics. This is basic thugonomics.
just like the meme of him, it's hilarious.
Oh, that video of the John Cena call. Like, do you support the troops? Have you seen that?
Oh, the prank call. It's like
The crank call.
it's like
Oh,
9
yes.
years
Yes.
old,
Do you
I
support your
have.
troops? Sorry, I've been getting so many prank calls today. Of course I support the troops. Well, that's good because we have a soldier coming home and his name is John Cena. That's one of the best videos of all time. Oh my god. All right, so my number 3, I'll go into Shawn Michaels. Dude, I always liked him more than Triple H, and I don't know why. Like I
I always like
can't-
Triple H more.
that's the thing, and I talk to so many people. I talk to so many people that say the same thing. They're like, it's like everyone's very 50-50.
Yeah.
I think Shawn's dynamic was so much cooler back in the day. Shawn had a little bit longer of a stint, and I mean, he was the world champion back when Triple H wasn't even in the company like
Yeah.
that. Like, Shawn was dominating back then, came back and dominated again, and I feel like he was a cool success story because he did get too ahead of himself and like too full of himself, and then like came back and kind of came like a born again Christian. And
Yeah.
I respect that regardless of whatever religion you follow or whatever. If you can kind of come back and be like, yo, I was a scumbag and like I needed to fix myself and come back and be like that, I like always will respect that. So that was something always that got me invested in him too. And then I mean, again, dude, I mean you can name 5-star matches. How many from
Yeah.
you know?
Nah, yeah, it's
So
ridiculous.
Like, dude, Undertaker matches, boom.
Both of them.
Triple
5
H
stars.
matches, boom. Tag team matches, like no one wants to watch tag team matches.
yeah.
When DX would like, dude, amazing. So he's on there for me.
Also, half of one of the most infamous jobs of all time, the Montreal Screw Job.
Yep. Now,
his fault.
not only that, also him turning heel.
Yeah.
The
Kicking Marty Jannetty, yeah. in
Kicking
the
Marty
face.
Jannetty.
Iconic.
He kicked the guy through a glass window at a barbershop. That was actually wild. Now watch that back still to this day, and I still cannot believe that Marty Jannetty didn't like lose his liver from getting stabbed by
dude.
that glass. That shit was wild.
Yeah, no, he definitely got cut.
Oh, dude.
Like,
I mean, he was
legit, like,
wearing a lot, but like,
Yeah.
dude, he gets kicked in the face and like goes through a window, and like he's laying on like the cut glass of like the window. It like doesn't make sense to me. It's like you still can't like figure it out. But that's my boy Shawn at 3.
All right, for my 3rd, I got AJ Styles. From watching him from TNA until like when he came into W in New Japan, he was just sensational.
Short hairstyles.
Short hairstyles. He was just like in TNA. He was ridiculous. The moves he would do. He doesn't do them anymore, but like it was just like wild and sensational. Like I just loved watching him.
I hate this guy. He's like,
Guys, just
What?
you're using all his. You called him phenomenal, and then you called him sensational, which are literally his two
Yes, sir.
nicknames.
I can't stand Adam. I swear to God.
Adam's like, wow, man, I had such an AJ Styles day. Like trying to name drop him in the most nonchalant way.
Yes, sir.
Like,
Makes people look phenomenal. Like, shut the fuck up, Adam.
what's his bouncer's name? Like almost, like like yeah, dude, like you're just.
What can I say?
No,
love
I
AJ Styles.
respect that. I was never a TNA guy, so like I didn't get behind the hype, and I also think like it's almost unfortunate that he didn't come to WWE earlier because like I think his career he could still be in the WWE now, or
Is he
he'd
not in
be
the
like,
WWE right
He's
now?
still
no,
is.
but
He
I'm
is.
saying
Yeah.
like if he was there then and he like back in the 2000s if he had come instead of being at the height of. I mean, like he was literally probably the only thing that kept TNA alive. Like
him and Perk Angle. Yeah.
You love calling him that,
That's
dude.
what he was.
I know.
That's what he was.
I know that's what he was.
Dude, it was him, Samoa Joe, Abyss, and Kurt Angle. Like those were like the only.
Mick Foley
things.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you
Not
don't.
really.
When you say that, you don't go like Mick Foley.
No,
like,
yeah, but that's what drew people in. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But dude, I mean.
Well, if we're talking about people that never came to WWE, what about Sting?
Dude,
that might have been the biggest like disgrace that Sting never had a match with Undertaker. That might be the biggest disgrace in wrestling history.
It just sucks, dude.
Two of the most iconic wrestlers of all time.
That's one of those things that you literally sit there and say, like, the dream match. Like, you pick out, like, oh, you would have loved to have seen LeBron and MJ match up or like, whatever. Like,
we all know who would win that, though.
LeBron. Hands down.
Adam, this is a wrestling podcast, and we're going to
Adam, get off of this.
We're not going to fight, because I will fight you to the death. I will fight, literally. There's a couple hills I'll die on. Kanye, Michael Jordan, and Kalisto.
Okay. The wrestler?
Yeah, I was kidding. That was a joke. If you listen,
Adam clearly didn't understand it.
If you listen to the wrestling podcast that I told you should check out, Adam, Brandon Walker, the guy from Barstool, he has one caller that calls in, and the guy does such a good job because he goes and he's like, Brandon, I just wanted to talk to you about one of the wrestlers that is literally getting none of the proper desire, and he's not getting the light that he deserves, and it is absurd to think that Kalisto, and just like literally, he builds it up to think that it's gonna. Oh, it's a really good wrestler, and Kalisto was like.
Wasn't there like 3 different Kalistos?
So Kalisto was this guy that wrestling brought in like the mid 2010s, and they thought he was gonna be the next like Rey Mysterio, and he just like didn't work out at all, and like it's a meme now. So the guy was like, "It's Kalisto, like you should do something, whatever." Yeah, but oh my god. Who'd you just say? AJ Styles?
Yeah. The sensational, phenomenal
sensational, phenomenal, really long hair, short hair, TNA, 9'6".
Styles Clash, flying forearm.
Yeah, what's his move?
He built TNA.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but look at
I'm
TNA.
not gonna argue with you.
I mean, TNA's got a square ring now, and they've got Matt Cardona wrestling there now.
Wait, he's over in TNA now?
I mean, he's
well, he was AEW, but I know
AEW.
But AEW lets him go back and forth.
Him and Myers.
That's what I love about
AEW.
AEW
Now in
really?
TNA, yeah, which like I kind of like because I actually liked them, and I started watching like their figure shows and stuff because I love like wrestling figures and shit. But then like. Now I'm kind of just like, okay, like now you guys are on TNA and they're not getting like AEW shine. I'm like, shit.
Dude, there's this kid from the liquor store we work at. His name is Nick. He hates Matt Cardona.
Why?
He just hates him. Well, he was Zack Ryder.
I was waiting for you to say someone else hates something that
he would
one
just,
of my arch rivals on this
dude,
show.
he would like tweet at me like you're a fucking loser, and he got blocked by Zack Ryder.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I'm like, yo, you watch Zack Ryder collect some new toys? He's like, fuck that fucking loser who collects toys at 35 years old. What a bitch! It's so funny.
My god. Meanwhile, like, not to make fun of this other kid, whoever he is, but like, I would have loved for him to have been like,
31.
he collects like baseball cards or something. Baseball cards are like the new commodity.
Yeah,
like,
right?
He's like, oh, fuck that guy who collects wrestlers. I only collect Pokemon cards. Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, I just got $400 Charizard.
yeah, you guys ever see
that guy for buying
you guys did you guys see my Pikachu? I got a 9.5 Pikachu. It's got graded.
Adam, trade me your Charizard for my Charizard.
Clip.
I got the blue eyes white dragon. Blue eyes phenomenal for him. Phenomenal.
Luke. Come on, Pokemon we're talking about.
I just got my new AJ Styles card. It's almost phenomenal and sensational at the same time. All right, what'd you do? 3, Adam?
My third, I'm gonna do Kane. I was gonna do Taker, but I've always liked Kane more, and I feel Kane is probably the most underappreciated wrestler of all time, in my humble opinion. Because he won the belt once, won the WWF title against Stone Cold. It wasn't even a clean win, I'm pretty sure. Lost it the next day on Raw. Yeah. But he had like the most Royal Rumble eliminations till fucking Brock Lesnar came around 2 years ago.
Which was the worst thing.
That was annoying as fuck.
But no, it was last year. Because that's when McIntyre eliminated him.
Last year. Yeah. Kane was just always such a good worker. I just loved his...
literally known as one of the best workers of all time.
The best. If you look at him in like 2001, the way he would move in the ring was just ridiculous. He's flying across the ring like he's 150 fucking pounds. The dude's like 300
Dr.
plus.
Isaac Yankum?
Yeah, right? Oh, don't even get me started. That's ridiculous.
MD?
Yeah, just stupid. But just something about Kane I always loved.
So Undertaker's not on your list.
No.
I respect... Undertaker's my guy. I respect that take. I think Kane is that guy I always loved back in the day because in the 2000s when I watched, I feel like Kane was that guy. Undertaker, I don't want to say Taker wasn't as involved back then because he was, but I feel like when Kane came out, I was always like, shit, Kane's about to wipe the floor with whoever comes out.
There's just always something about Kane where I just always liked him more than Taker, and I love Taker. Because he's the greatest. He's one of the best.
Is it weird to think that I almost think that Kane was more unstoppable than Taker? And I say that because if you think about it, Taker lost a whole bunch of casket matches.
Yes.
Everyone always laughs because they're like, "Oh, Taker's casket matches were always the best." He lost one. Like he lost the one to Randy when it lit on fire.
Yes.
He lost to Kane. He lost to. Was it Big Show when he fell? Remember?
That was the Buried Alive match.
Mick. Remember when Mick Foley threw him in, or he threw Mick Foley in, and then Foley climbed out, and then he got literally the guy that's supposed to be unkillable was killed off 8 times.
I like Kane's character more like the Red Demon from Hell or whatever.
Yeah.
The Big Red Machine. His one promo with The Rock and Hogan, where he's like, "Let me tell you something, brother."
Yeah.
So he just stole the gimmicks. That is so funny because it's just so out of character.
I think it was also better, probably more appreciative for you because he was a little bit newer to us. Undertaker had been around. Yeah,
he was already established.
Already, and Kane only got introduced in '96. So even in 06, 98. In 08, he's only 10 years in. So, not to say that's a young career, but there's guys that are in the industry for 7 years, and they finally get a title shot. Yeah. The Miz was in it for. The Miz was the Miz the first winner of? No, when did he win Tough Enough?
Oh, was he the first one?
Was that?
No, John Morrison, I think, was in the first season of it and lost, and I think he won the second season or whatever.
I think it was. I want to say 06, 07.
So
I want to say 06 is when they were both there. So I think 05 had to have been there.
How long was the Miz in the industry before he finally won a title? And a
major title, or just any title.
Well,
they won the tags, but we're not counting that. We're counting the title.
Wasn't he Intercontinental for ever in US?
Yeah, and then 11 and 12, he won the WWE Championship.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if he got in 07, you said 11.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
11 and 12, maybe 13. He got it.
All right, Adam, come on, let's.
15, 16. Oh, he just won yesterday. 21. Sick. Took him 18 years.
Just like at work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, true you out.
All right, I'm bringing you up for 2 high noons. Just bought 2 bottles of Dom Perignon. All right, bet, Adam. Adam, you still owe me a hoodie. What happened to the high noon hoodie I asked you for?
I've been trying to get.
Oh, look at him! Look at him!
Adam is such a scumbag. It's unbelievable. He'll make promises. This kid can't keep, dude. I swear to God.
Adam, I literally.
You want to hear about the PS5? Want to hear about the PS5? He's just.
Adam, I held you to literally 20 points in 17 games, spread out between 17 games.
Dude, Adam bought 2 PS5s, right? He sells the other one for $2 profit to some fucking schmuck on the other side of Freehold. Won't even sell to his baby cousin. Unbelievable.
My friend Connor was no schmuck.
Okay. For what, $3 profit?
$100 profit.
Oh, wow. See?
Speaking of PS5, Frank, when are we going to really quickly, before all batteries die and everything dies and I have to literally not see my face for the rest of this podcast, what are we playing on PS5?
Well, first you got to...
I do. I know. When I tell you I literally get on at 11:30 at night, play Warzone for 4 games, and then literally play Call of Duty Cold War for 10 games and go to bed, that's all I do. I wish I played Rocket League. I'm about to re-download Tony Hawk because I'm about to fucking shred.
I'll play Rocket League with you and Fortnite from time to time.
Well, so what game are we going to get mutually together?
I don't
Madden.
Nah.
Fuck up, Adam.
Nah, I'll play FIFA or NHL.
Okay. All right, so maybe I'll cop... FIFA low-key was just running a promo for 70% off or something like that. So we should... Yeah, FIFA 21.
Yeah. All right, word.
So we should check that out. Yeah. Yo, also really quickly, complete opposite of news. Star Wars is releasing a game on the Wii.
The sweat.
Holy
I heard.
shit.
I heard.
Yo, all
What
this
year am I
nostalgic wrestling's got you thinking back in 06.
I just called the fucking Switch a Wii. Blacked out. I feel like I'm in WandaVision. Frank's sitting behind the camera right now like, Luke, don't fucking talk about it. I know you're going to talk about it. Okay, so you just did 3.
Yeah.
I'm on 2. Eddie. Eddie's my number 2. Again, a guy that I didn't really get to appreciate his career because I was not really... I wasn't around watching it when he was there. But man, like, I just had such a connection with him. I don't know why. He was just one of the best in the business. Such a cool story. I mean, he didn't even... I'll have to send in the group chat that Frank sent us, like, without Nick. I'll, like, save your number and I'll send it. There's a guy on YouTube that I watch that puts together documentaries, like quick 20-minute documentaries of these people's careers. And I'm in the middle of watching the Eddie Guerrero one right now, and it's so good. Just because, like, it talks about he came from the family of wrestlers. He went into he went into wrestling, I think in Mexico.
Yeah, I think it was probably
Lucha Libre stuff,
wasn't
luchador stuff, whatever. Yeah. So he's doing that. Then I just got to the point where he's just in getting into WCW with Dean Malenko and Benoit.
Dude, I love his story just because of what happened with them, how they weren't the big guys that they wanted in WCW, so they were like, all right, fuck this, we're going to go over to WWE. I think it was WWF at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They came over to WWF, and then
they
took them a little bit, took them a few years, but then they...
Well, I think so. I think how Jericho tells it is actually the opposite, because I think what happened is the WWE didn't want them because... they were not, they weren't the big bodies. But like you said, WCW saw, they were producing every week on WCW, but in the mid-card shit.
Yeah.
And that's when WWE started to realize, and they started to be like,
I had mixed up them.
No, you're right, though, because then WCW was like, no, but like, you'll never be a title holder. They were like... They could do what they wanted in WCW, but they couldn't get titles.
Yeah.
So, like, that was where they were like, what, like, why? Like, you guys won't give us title? Like, Eric Bischoff was like, you guys aren't going to be worth anything. You're just mid-card guys to fill up the slots.
Yeah.
Like, Dean Malenko was considered the greatest wrestler of all time. He just didn't,
he
just wasn't the best on the mic, so he just was kind of someone that was buried. But no, dude, Eddie was just that guy for me. I didn't know him. I didn't know him as the wrestler. I didn't get to watch him, but he just was someone that he connected with me on so many levels, and I always respected him and what he did for for wrestling.
All right, my number two and one can be flip flopped. It's my number 2 is HBK. Same thing with like Eddie. Like I didn't really get to see him as much. Like my first time watching wrestling was like maybe 2 or 3 months before WrestleMania 25. So I got to see the build up to WrestleMania 25, one of the greatest matches I ever seen, and just stuff between like with him and Triple H, just cutting promos with DX, and just in general, like I like watching his little matches, like I always just like loved him, and like he was drawing my attention.
Dude, so good.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock.
The end.
I mean, probably the best guy to cut promos of all time. And I love The Rock so much because, what was it, Netflix had like this whole like, kind of like a documentary, but it was just a collection of all of his matches.
A while ago?
Yeah, it was a while, like 10 years ago. Yeah. But it was just a collection, and I would just watch them, and a lot of them, it was like his best matches, collection of his best matches. And one of my favorite matches of all time would be Backlash 2000 against Triple H for the title.
So good.
The double rock bottoms, Shane and Triple H through the Spanish announce table. Gets up, they're in the ring, they start fucking with The Rock, and then Stone Cold comes out with the chair, starts smacking everybody, and then Rock hits the people's elbow, and then he wins the title.
Dude, oh my, I was always a Rock hater, and it was because I respect the shit, so, I respect the shit out of The Rock for actually a couple reasons, because he was one of the only guys to actually transition well. I think I showed you. Remember when I told you his dad just passed away, and I sent you the video? Remember, it was probably a couple months ago now. The eulogy that he read at he read off at his dad's funeral was so cool because he's someone that to me sometimes feels so scripted, and I can't. I don't like that. I don't like when everything you do seems like it's so just to the dots, everything, and he does a good job of hiding it. But I also just I was like, oh, dude, I don't like you that every movie you're in, it's just a big explosion. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, you're a good actor. Like, you can do something. Like, he's in the Tooth Fairy or the right? What was
Yeah, the Tooth.
Yeah,
the
game
Tooth
plan.
Fairy, he's in the game plan, and then now he's evolved into like everything blows up around him.
Yeah.
But the eulogy he reads for his father completely changed my mind with the dude, where I completely said, I'm like, you know what? Not only is this guy one of the hardest workers in the room, and I've bought some of his Under Armour shit because, like, I don't even like Under Armour. I'm a sneaker head to the day I die. Adidas, Nike, all that shit. I hate Under Armour. I always talk shit on Under Armour besides, like, your typical Under Armour shit.
Yeah.
He's so cool with just being, like, the hardest worker, first one in, last one out, shit like that. And when I heard the thing he wrote about his father with the eulogy and he read it off on his Instagram, such a fucking cool respect that I got for him. But dude, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. Time for number ones. Guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. In typical me fashion, it's gonna be Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. I have a
Frank was
tie.
buying it for a second.
No, Frank, as soon as he heard me say Rick, he said, God damn it! We went another episode. So mine's a tie. And it's really just because one of these guys I can't put at my one because I didn't watch them to the degree that I actually he's the figure of my imagination. I never watched him wrestle live. And then there's Taker. So Taker was my guy because I didn't know his lore and what he was up until a certain point, but I knew him for what he got to. I mean, he became an amazing guy, amazing character from when I got to that point where I'm like, holy shit, this is my favorite wrestler. And the Last Ride documentary was amazing. So well put together, really gives you a good perspective on what he did to get to his final days in wrestling and how well he worked and how hard. And my other number one is Stone Cold. I mean, dude, it just... I didn't have the pleasure of watching him back in the day because, again, he was that guy that, he was past our generation, and he was gone and he didn't come back.
Yeah, but he was also one of those guys where he was kind of short-lived when he was big. Because he was in the early 90s, he was in WCW, Stunning Steve Austin. He got that sick promo against Eric Bischoff when he was at ECW.
Yep.
WWE picks him up. I think it was 95 he came in, 94, and he didn't really hit it big until he won the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And then he was gone by 2003.
Exactly. I was going to say 04, 03, and then he was gone. And that was it. And that's why I think it almost plays to such a good thing. He played to such a smart audience, and he was only so short-lived that I think that helps his case so much more. But those are my number ones. I don't want every camera to die, so I'm going to go pass it over to Adam before we talk for another 3 hours.
Our cameraman sucks, by the way. Sorry, Frank.
All the cameras are dying! Good job, Luke. Idiot.
All right, my number one is Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge.
You caught me on that one. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I thought he was going to say Adam Pearce. I'm like, no!
You're going to say Adam Cole because I didn't hear Copeland.
Adam Cole, my God.
I was like, you're an idiot, Adam, but no, I take it back.
I'm an idiot, man. I'm stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Quote that.
On my chest.
Like what we were saying earlier, like open opportunities used to make our blood boil, like when we used to watch him growing up, and like I would just get so fucking frustrated. I would fucking start yelling at the TV.
Nah, you know you were excited when the live sex show was going on.
I mean, you went wrong.
Hey, you know when you saw Lita's Hooters, you know you got excited.
First of all, Matt awkward for me because I was sitting right next to my mother watching it.
That's like literally that was worse than in a movie scene when it
happens, yeah.
Because in a movie scene you're like, haha, it's a movie. Like
really?
I'm watching with my dad and he's like, what the fuck's going on right now? This is wrestling. Like they're not wrestling.
There you go.
Stone Cold. That's my number one. I
Insert glass.
Yeah.
You have to insert glass breaking right before he says that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, pew!
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing much more to say about him.
No,
I mean,
just,
everybody knows who Stone Cold is.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a person. Well, there probably is. I'm sure you could find someone in the 7 billion people on this earth that doesn't know who Stone Cold is.
Not gonna
but
know.
any functioning human, I could not speak for a second. Any functioning human knows.
At least hear the name.
Yeah, like if you know Stone Cold, you may not.
You're not going to know Steve Austin.
Yeah, but if you go Stone Cold, oh yeah, I know Stone Cold. Like,
I would even argue Steve Austin too. I don't watch WWE. I don't watch any wrestling at all on Steve Austin.
Yeah, but I think if I said Steve Austin to someone, like if I said Stone Cold to 100 people,
I feel
more gonna
he's
know.
definitely getting more popular now because
yes.
he did Hot Ones like 6 months ago,
and he has
months
his IPA, dude. I want you to try his IPA.
It's good. We have the store.
I heard it's Broken Skull.
Yeah, Broken Skull IPA.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah,
I don't drink, so I have no fucking clue. But I've heard really good things about it, and I think it's killing it in sales, like. Because again, you're getting every fucking guy that wants to drink on Monday or Friday.
It is killing in sales.
All right, dear manager.
Adam's wearing a Stone Cold shirt. He's like, please buy the Broken Skull. Please buy these. I want him to know me.
I have a shirt, and I got his fucking shorts. He's got like those little fucking shorts. They got the skulls on him and shit, dude. I look badass. I wore them to work one time.
Is that the chalk line shorts, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, I actually hit up a dude on Instagram that like makes like replica old school shirts of it. And he's going to watch the pod, but I told him, I'm like, bro, and I was like low-key trying to be like, yo, like, I would love a shirt before this. And I was going to be like, can you, like, expedite ship this to me? But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to rock one of the old ones. He makes, like, sick shirts. So I told him about it. I'm like, bro, I'm going on a pod right now with my buddy. Like, me and him do this together. And I was like, you know, I'm low-key going to talk about wrestling the entire pod. Like,
low-key the entire time.
I was like, high-key. Going to just literally do nothing but talk about wrestling. Dude, thank you guys so much for this. I am so hyped that we got to talk wrestling for a stupid amount of time.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I'm hyped to hopefully reconnect in a year from now, and maybe some other good shit is going on with wrestling. We can talk more about it. And yeah, that's it. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, add us on Facebook. Make sure to watch our Twitch streams. Frank Gaming, watch it, do it, like it, touch me, touch you. What? What's going on? Bye.
So, Cowboy Bebop is my number 5, and Samurai is very similar. They're very similar, and I'm kind of contradicting myself because I mentioned before that I hated fuzziness. These two animes are kind of fuzzy. They got a very retro, like 90-ish vibe.
They're older, no?
They're older. Yeah, they're older.
They're literally the ones. If you look up like anime lo-fi hip hop, that's the background.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
Yeah. Cowboy Bebop. I think the characters in Cowboy Bebop are one of like the most celebrated in anime. Like Spike
absolutely.
Siegel is an absolute
Fucking
beast.
Space Cowboy?
I think Space Cowboy, like that whole like that story plot and like creativity is way ahead of its time. Being like a space cowboy, like a space cop, like these guys travel on a ship to planets and like solve shit. It does without like all of like the jazz. Like there's not like, you know, all this like superhero shit, and like the music is great.